18-year-old Beverly Lopez and her boyfriend, 20-year-old waiter George Chantarasaka, are suing George's former lover, 19-year-old tutor Saram Muth, for breaking into their home and stealing property.
Pronounce your last name for me.
Chantarasaka.
Chantarasaka. What's your first name?
George.
George. Do you mind?
No.
According to your complaint, this young lady is George's former girlfriend.
Ex-girlfriend.
Former, that's former.
Oh, okay. Oh, sorry.
And it is your claim that she broke into the apartment that you now share with George.
Yes.
Broke the door to your bedroom, vandalized the room, and took some of your property. Your defense is that it's your apartment, and you have the right to go into your apartment because you're on the lease.
Yes.
And you did take some of her property, but that was a mistake.
Yes, I did.
But that you gave it back to her.
Yes, I did.
When did you break up with George?
We broke up a week before I left, which was about May 24th.
And when did you come back to the apartment on the incident that Miss Lopez is complaining about?
A week after June 11th.
And when did you move into the apartment, Miss Lopez?
I think the last week of May.
And you moved in with George?
Yes.
So now he's your boyfriend?
He's been my boyfriend. We broke up for about a month, and that's when he got with her.
So you went from her to her, back to her, is that right? Is that what you're telling me?
Yes.
You must have some secret something, George, and if you do, it's got to be a good secret, because I don't see it. Now, you came back June 18th. Tell me why you came into the apartment. What were you looking for?
I came back to the apartment to drop off his wallet because he left it in my cousin's car. And I was there to pick up some of my stuff and take it back to California with me. Little did I know, my door was locked. So out of anger, I broke my door.
The door that you had that you say was locked, is that a door to a bedroom that you had shared with George?
Yes.
So it was George's bedroom as well?
Yes.
Okay. Go ahead.
So I broke off the doorknob, went in, took my stuff, and I also took her stuff out of anger.
And where did you put them when you took them?
I actually took it with me to California, but then I realized my stupidity, and I brought it back the next day.
You're lying.
Just a second. Did you get it back?
No, I didn't get any of my stuff back.
Show me that you brought it back and gave it to her.
I have a witness who can't come in because she's a minor.
Well, then if you have a witness that I can't question, then you have no witness.
You're right, I don't. But I did bring it back. Why would she wait for a month to file a report saying that I stole her stuff?
I called you and I told you that I wanted my things
Listen,
back.
Miss Lopez, don't speak to her. Speak to me.
Okay.
Did you get your property back?
No, I didn't.
Okay. You have a bill for the replacement of the doorknob?
No, I don't.
No, I don't, no.
But this is the doorknob. This is how it looks when she broke it off.
I don't need the doorknob, madam. She says she broke the doorknob. I need what it's going to cost to fix it.
Well, we don't have the bill.
You have a list of items that she took out of your room?
I have a police report.
Well, you originally told the police, madam, that all the stuff that was taken was original value and current value were the same, $900. Why are you suing her now for $4,500?
Because my things are actually worth more than $900 at the time.
You mean they increased in value since you filed the police report?
No, I didn't.
Listen to me. If you file a police report and they ask you what the value is and you gave them their original value and the current value, I assume that when you filed that police report you were trying to be as accurate as possible. Is that right?
Yes, but at the time I wasn't really thinking because I was really...
And now you're thinking? Is what you're telling me now you're thinking? Heaven help me. You have no right to take up property and you have no proof that you returned it. I have no idea how much it's going to cost to fix the doorknob because you don't bring me a bill.
And she broke my video camera too.
You have a bill to have it fixed?
No, I don't.
Well, what am I supposed to do? I'm not a mind reader.
Your Honor, I did not break his video camera.
I'm not considering the video camera because people have to know that when they come to court, they have to be prepared. They have to be prepared with documents. They have to be prepared with receipts. They have to be prepared.
But
I'm speaking.
Oh, I'm sorry.
They have to be prepared with an estimate of what it's going to cost to fix property if there's an allegation of damage. If you don't have that, the judge isn't going to get it for you. George, You got it?
Yes, yes.
Good. As far as you're concerned, you made this report soon after the incident occurred. You told the police what happened. You told the police what your property was worth. You told them at that time that it was worth $900, which is probably a stretch. Certainly that stretch isn't going to be stretched into $4,500. Judgment for the plaintiff in the amount of $900. That's all. Goodbye.
What is our excuse? You must step out.
Plaintiff Sheila Elliott is suing casino owner Ken Worsham for pain and suffering due to an accident in his casino. Sheila says she fell to the ground when a worker removed a chair from underneath her during a game of Texas Hold'em.
Mr. Worsham, do you operate a casino? Is that what you do?
Yes.
Where is the casino?
Sacramento.
According to what I've read, Miss Elliott, you were playing some sort of a game, Texas Poker?
Texas Hold'em.
Texas Hold'em. I'm trying to figure out how this game was played, but I gather that there are 10 players to start with. Is that right, sir?
Normally there's 9.
And when one person leaves, they take away that spot, and it goes to fewer people and fewer people, almost like musical chairs. Miss Elliott was playing this Texas Hold'em, and according to you, you went to sit down, and one of the employees of the casino had removed the chair that you were going to sit on. Is that right?
At the time, the chair was there.
Well, when you went to sit down, the chair wasn't there.
Yeah, when I went to sit down, it was gone.
And you fell.
Yes.
And you want Mr. Worsham
Worsham.
to pay you $5,000.
Yes.
What time did you start to play Texas Hold'em?
I started there early in the afternoon.
What date? Can we date?
On the 2nd.
2nd of what?
Of January.
And what time did this incident happen when you fell?
It happened like, to my recollection, I would say 2:30, 3 o'clock in the morning.
Anybody have a different time and date?
Yes, it happened about 6:30 a.m. in the morning.
So she fell about 6:30 a.m. in the morning.
That's
How do you
correct.
know that, sir?
We had a tape of it, of the incident.
And that's what the tape indicates?
Yes.
Okay. Is that possible?
No, it happened before then. Now, what his tape is showing, it could be. I didn't see this tape. I asked to see the tape.
That's not what I asked you. I
Okay.
said, could it have been at 6:30?
No, I believe it was before 6:30.
Who was the employee who was moving around the chairs?
Mr. Philip Leon.
Real cases, real people. Judge Judy. Sheila Elliott says she was injured during a game of Texas Hold'em at Ken Worsham's casino. Sheila says a casino worker removed her chair while she was trying to sit down.
Miss Leon, you're an employee of Mr. Worsham's?
Yes, ma'am.
Can you tell me what time this incident happened?
I come and see play on the table and
What
around
time?
6:30.
You moved a chair, is that correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Can you tell me why you moved the chair?
Because got a player get off the table, so I get off the table. So I ask anybody want to move the chair. We have 10 seats.
I'm not, Mr. Worsham, you're going to have to act as partial
Okay.
translator for me. I'm not following this.
Okay, well, he asked if anybody was going to move seats. And then when no one said they were going to move, then you take a chair out.
Okay. Is that what was basically happening? One chair was being taken away?
No, ma'am.
Well, tell me what your version of these events
My
are.
version is it was late in the morning.
Okay. Go ahead.
There were approximately about 6 to 7 players at the table, not 10.
Okay.
And not that many chairs.
Okay.
So what happened was Philip was reading a book for about maybe 30 to 40 minutes. So when I noticed that it was a few players and I had been sitting in this one particular seat for so long, I looked over at him reading the book. I said, Philip, can I move into that seat? He said, yeah, go ahead. Just like that. So it was me, a chair, and the third chair, the one I want to move into. So I didn't go behind the chairs. I came in front of the chairs. And I put my hand on the table like you normally do, as I do all the time. I reached back, because the chair, I felt the chair on the calf of my leg. I reached back to pull the chair up so I could sit down. No chair. He had pulled that chair immediately. And I yelled. I said, Philip, why did you move that chair? And he said, oh, and they all started laughing. He laughed. That's what made me so mad. And when I fell down, my shove fell on my left shoulder. And when I fell down, I felt something like in the back of my neck, back of my head, like, and they was going to pull me up with this arm. And I said, no.
Miss Elliott, after you fell down, did you find a chair?
No, the chair wasn't there.
Shh. Did you find a chair to sit and continue playing that morning?
After they got me out?
Yes.
Yes. Yes, I did.
And how many hours did you continue to play after you fell on your behind?
Now,
just a second. Just answer my question. How many hours did you continue to play?
I stayed for several hours. I stayed there.
How many?
Oh, I
1
stayed
hour,
all, no.
2
no,
hours?
No, I stayed all that day.
3 hours.
All
All day?
Yes.
And I read your papers, and you said that after you fell, however, you felt a little woozy, and you went to the bathroom, and you took a Vicodin.
Yes, right.
Where'd you get the Vicodin from?
I carry Vicodins with me all the time.
For what?
Because I had back surgery back in '92.
So
and
you
when I have back
92
problems,
was 12 years ago.
I have back problems, and ever since I had the back surgery, I've been on pain medication.
So you take pain medication for your back?
Not frequently now, but I just carry it with me in case.
Carry it with you just in case you fall?
If I get, yes.
And
not
you sat
in
and
case
played,
I fall.
Miss
no.
Elliott, and you sat and played all day that day, is
Waiting
that right?
for him to come in.
I don't care what, listen.
Yes,
Miss Elliott,
okay.
listen to me very carefully, my dear.
All right.
This is not windfall day. What Mr. Worsham said to you when you approached him, because you waited for him all day, instead of going to a hospital if you were injured because you couldn't move your shoulder, because your shoulder was all out and your back is out and you're taking Vicodin, you go to a hospital. You go to a doctor. You don't continue to play Texas Hold'em. Elliott, Mr. Leung, didn't purposely pull a chair out from under you. He wasn't playing a Halloween prank. You weren't injured. You only get paid if you're injured, even if he was negligent. And people who are injured don't stick around for a whole day and play Texas Hold'em, Miss Elliott. Do we understand each other?
I understand you.
Very good. Now, you offered her $500?
Yes, ma'am.
Why did you offer her $500?
Well, she kept asking me what I was going to do for her, and I told her nothing, and she came back in and asked me again, and I finally said, okay, I'll give you $500. And she said, is that all I get? And I said, yes, that's all I'll give you. And she left again, went back and played cards.
What time was this? Do you recall?
This was another day. This was about 3 days later. In fact, I believe it was on a Monday or Tuesday.
You mean she came back, her injuries resolved, and she came back 3 days later?
Yes.
Is that right?
I came back to see him, not to play cards.
But you did play cards.
I wait while I was waiting for him. Yes.
Miss Elliott, courts have important business to take care of. It is not the role of courts to allow people to abuse them with nonsense lawsuits. Your lawsuit is nonsense. Okay. You were not injured. If you were injured,
yes,
you would.
was.
No. If you were injured, a person of your age knows that if you fall on the floor and if you're injured, you don't sit around all day playing cards. You take care of your injuries. That's what you do. You chose not to do that. And you chose to come back a couple of days later to see him again, to ask him how much money he was going to give you. And while you were waiting, you weren't injured so much that you couldn't sit down and play a few games of Texas Hold'em or wherever else you were going to play. So, Miss Elliott, this is not a windfall day against Mr. Worsham. He offered you $500. You should have taken it. You didn't. He's not offering it anymore.
I didn't
Your
come back
lawsuit's
to him.
dismissed. That's
okay,
all.
thank you.
Parties are excused and they step out.
Registered nurse Marianne Henry is suing her son's former friends, 18-year-olds Annie Parsons, Amy Spurlock, and Taylor Smith, for scratching his Honda Civic.
Mrs. Henry, which one of these two young men is your son?
Right here in the sport coat, Joshua.
Joshua, you know these three young beauties?
Yes, Your Honor.
How do you know them?
I went to school with them.
You were on a camping trip with them?
Yes, Your Honor.
Had you ever dated these girls?
No, Your Honor.
Did you ever want to date these girls?
No, Your Honor.
Were you friends?
Yes, Your Honor.
According to your mother's complaint, because you were driving her truck. Is it a truck or a car?
It was a car.
Car. These three lovelies decided to pull a little bit of a practical joke, right?
Yes, sir.
Tell me what you did to Miss Henry's car.
Well,
That was parked at the campgrounds on the 26th of June.
Well, I guess I can tell this part. This whole thing started...
What's your name?
I'm Amy Spurlock.
Go ahead.
Well, it all started because we took Josh's keys because he was really drunk and we didn't know if he was going to drive or we didn't know, so we took him and he was really...
Where did you take his keys from?
my boyfriend took his keys, and then I had his keys. I took the keys from my boyfriend.
Why?
Because Josh was saying that he wanted to leave.
Just a second. That doesn't tell me how his tent got on top of his car.
Well, he became upset with us because we wouldn't give him his keys back. We went up to his tent because he went up there, he was mad at us, and he went up and went to bed.
What did you do when you went up to his tent?
We went up to his tent, and just as a joke, because, you know, he always messes with us. You know, when you go to parties, everybody just messes with people, and we were taking, like, the poles out of the tent to make it collapse or whatever as a joke. And then we did that a few times.
So you took the poles out of his tent and it collapsed on him?
Yes.
How many times did you do that?
I would say maybe 3.
Then what happened?
And then he got really upset and he came up because his tent was...
Just a second. What happened when he got upset?
And then he came back to our campsite and was like screaming and punching tents and just going crazy.
So he was angry?
Yes.
And then what happened, Amy?
And then we all went back down there.
Who's we all?
Myself, Annie, Taylor. There was...
You're Taylor?
Yes, ma'am. There was like maybe 3 other people.
Okay.
And we all went down there, and he wasn't there, and we were looking for him. And I took the poles out of his tent, like all the way out of his tent. And then I was dragging it over to his car, and another young man put the tent on top of his car.
Why did you go up looking for him?
Because the place where we were is in the middle of nowhere. The only thing there is a Texaco and a prison. And everyone was joking around that night saying that 2 people had escaped from the prison, which I don't know if that's a true story or not. But that.
Why did you go up looking for him?
Because we were concerned for him. We didn't know where he went because he was mad at us. And we went, honestly, we went looking for him because we were going to be like, you know, Josh, we're sorry.
All right, so now you don't find him. You're looking for him, and you're so concerned because these 2 mass murderers have escaped from prison that you pull the poles out of his tent. How did you think that was going to help find him?
That's not what I was thinking. It was a joke.
No, just a second. But how could you be joking at this point if you're concerned for his safety?
I was angry with him because he had called me names.
Just a second. But then you didn't go up looking for him because you were concerned for his safety. You went up there looking for him because you were angry. Which one is it?
It was pretty much both. I mean...
Get out. Can I see the... Listen, they would know the truth if it came up and slapped them in the face. Can I see the pictures of your car, please?
Yes, ma'am. Here are the pictures of the photos, and I also...
And the estimates to have it fixed.
Ma'am, the estimate came from her body shop that she owns.
I don't give a rat's behind whether it came from her body shop or it came from her nephew's body shop or her husband's body shop. When you do the wrong thing, what happens is you cannot expect to be treated fairly by everybody. You did the wrong thing. Don't stand there and make excuses. You know, you can't get by on good looks. Beauty fades.
We're not...
Ladies, beauty fades. Dumb is forever.
But we're not trying to make excuses. We're just saying that...
You did make an excuse. Put your hand... I'm speaking. You did make an excuse. You said we were concerned. We went up there looking for him because 2 prisoners escaped. Your girlfriend then, because she was so concerned, took the poles out of his tent so that somebody else could drag it over and throw it on his car. Get a life.
But we weren't the only ones there. There were other people there that she's
Then this is what you have to do. You have to pay $1,000 to have this car repainted, and if you think somebody else was responsible too, then you can sue them and say, I want to be indemnified for part of the money. But right now, it's your bag. Do you get it?
Yes, ma'am.
Good! Judgment for the plaintiff for the amount of $1,000.
Parties are excused. You may step out.
Accountant Michelle Udico is suing her ex-boyfriend, plumber Stephen Corona, for ramming her Toyota 4Runner with his truck. Stephen claims Michelle is making up a story.
Miss Udico, this gentleman used to be your boyfriend, and according to your complaint, he got angry with you one evening and he intentionally damaged your truck. And Mr. Corona says that while he was angry that evening, he didn't do anything to your car, right?
That's correct.
Tell me when Mr. Corona damaged your car.
That evening, after I dropped him off at home.
What evening?
May 21st a.m., May 20th, midnight.
And where had you been?
We were first at my house, and we got into an argument, and then I dropped him off at his house.
What'd you get into an argument about?
Just general things, what couples normally get in arguments about. I mean...
I usually get into an argument with my husband about how many pairs of shoes I bring home.
Okay.
So what were you arguing about?
You know, I don't recall what the argument was about, but we got into one, and I dropped him off at home like he wanted to go. He wanted to leave, so I took him home.
What time?
It's probably about 10 or 11 at night.
And where did you go when you dropped him off?
I went over to his house. Visit
What's his name?
This is my friend Frank. And I was there with a couple of friends. We were sitting out on the front porch, and then that's when he showed up.
And Mr. Corona, you acknowledged that you came looking for her.
Yes, ma'am, I did.
And what happened when he came looking for you?
Well, he had asked for me to get into my truck and go home, to let's go home.
When he told you to get into your truck and let's go home, was he in his car or out of his car?
He was out of his car at the time. He parked next to my car on the street, and he got off of his car and pretty much demanding for me to leave. And with the look in his eyes it pretty much looked violent, and I did not want to go, so I didn't.
He told you to get in the car and go home?
Yeah.
And what did you say to him?
Well, I was going to go, but then I turned around and I said, no, I'm not going.
What did you say to him?
I didn't say anything to him.
When he said get in the car, did you tell him okay?
Yeah, I said okay. Yeah,
well, that's what I'm asking you.
That's
what I'm asking. It's not a hard question. Okay. I'm just trying to follow the events. What happened starting from once upon a time and ending with the end. So he got out of his car and he said, get in the car, I want you to go home. He says he acknowledges he said that to you, right?
Yes, ma'am.
And you said, okay.
Right.
And he says that that's what you said. You said you would follow him, right?
She said she was going to go home to meet her there.
But then you decided not to go home.
Yes, I decided not to go home.
So you turned around and you said to your friend...
Right.
Frank.
Correct.
Frank, could you sit up, please? Sit up. Good. Thank you, Frank. You said to Frank and his friends, I'm not going with him.
That's correct.
And you went back to the porch.
Right.
So far, your stories are exactly the same. But here's where we come to a fork in the road.
Right.
What happened next, Miss Utico?
Well, he got upset. He got into his car, and he wrecked into my car, which was not good enough for him, so he sped off and made a U-turn and came back around and wrecked even more into my car. And then
what do you mean wrecked? I don't know.
He wrecked his car into my car.
You mean he hit his car into your truck?
Yes, he hit his car into mine. So.
And he did that twice?
He did it twice.
Mr. Corona?
Yes, ma'am.
I read your answer, and you flatly deny that this is the way it happened. So I have a few questions for you. Mr. Corona.
Yes?
What did you have an argument with Miss Utico about that evening?
We were arguing about her staying home and her wanting to go out. And I was trying to get her to stay home, but she insisted on leaving. She told me that she had to get up to go to work in the morning. That's why she wanted to drop me off, because usually I stay the night there. And it was kind of odd that she wanted me to go home, because she actually picked me up, and usually I drive over there, but she picked me up earlier, and then she dropped me off. You know, she insisted on dropping me off.
I don't... Excuse me, ma'am.
So, you cared about her a lot?
Sure. Very much so.
You the jealous type?
No, but I...
A little bit?
Sure, isn't everybody?
I don't know. Depends upon if you've got something to be jealous about. So let me understand this, Mr. Corona. Your girlfriend tells you she's got to get up early in the morning and she drives you home.
That's what she said.
You've got something in the back of your head that says, what's your first name?
Steve.
Steve. Steve, something's not kosher here. Because I usually spend the night, so I'm going to get into my car and go and look for her. Right? That's what you did.
Exactly.
And you're driving around, and something said, why don't you go over to old Frank's house? So you had the feeling maybe she was over there fooling around with Frank, right?
Possibly.
Well, you were going to give it a look-see anyway, right?
Sure.
I mean, is that what happened? Sure, that's where your car ended up.
Sure.
And then, sure enough, your girlfriend of a year and a half who had to get up early to go out to do something the next day, there she was, sitting, chilling with Frank on the porch. And you double parked your car next to hers.
Exactly next to hers on the side, parallel.
And you got out of the car and you said, I want you to get into the car and come home with me. Right?
And she said
and
yes.
she said...
She said yes.
Yes.
She said, I'm going to follow you. I'll meet you at my house.
I'm going to follow you home. I'm going to meet you home. And then she didn't.
That's right.
And then, according to your answer, you went home and went to sleep.
That's right.
That's wrong.
First, before that, before I went home, I went to her house and I waited in the front for her at her house.
Just a second. So you actually followed her direction and you went home.
Yeah.
How long did you sit in your car in front of her house waiting for her?
About 20 minutes.
Till he broke into my house.
Don't speak. 20 minutes?
About 20
Steve?
minutes.
20 minutes. And while you were waiting this 20 minutes, did you start to get upset?
No. No.
You started to get, just a second, you started to get, if you weren't upset, did you start to get hungry?
I was.
Shh. Did you start to get hungry? Tired?
Yeah, tired, yes.
So you were tired?
Yes, I was tired.
And you said, forget it.
Exactly.
She made a fool out of me.
I'm done with it.
I'm finished with her.
That's right.
She made a real fool out of me this time because she made a fool out of me earlier in the evening when she drove me home. And she was maybe going to have somebody else come and stay over, but it wasn't going to be me that night. And now I went over there and made a fool out of myself in front of other people. And she made a bigger fool out of me, so you went home and went to sleep.
I threw in the towel.
Could I see the pictures of the car, please? You have a police report?
Yes, I do.
I'd like to see it. Well, you made the report the very next day.
Right.
What happened? Did they ever come to see you, Mr. Corona? The police?
No, ma'am.
They never came to see you?
No, ma'am.
You live in Los Angeles?
Yes.
They're probably real busy. Mr. Corona, I'm going to ask a question, but you don't even have to answer, Mr. Corona. I want you to look at my face. It's a nice face, right? You wouldn't lie to this face, Mr. Corona, would you? So I don't even want you to answer me, sir. Did it feel good? Did it feel good? It's going to cost you $2,284.56. I hope it felt that good. Judgment for the plaintiff, that's all.
Parties are excused. You may step out.
20-year-old Matthew Bardsley is suing his former co-worker, construction worker John Duncan, for damaging his car by covering it with snow and gravel. John says he was playing a practical joke and is countersuing, claiming Matthew had him fired.
Mr. Bardsley,
Yes.
according to what I read, you were in the parking lot of a store where you work. You work in
Yes.
a children's toy store?
Yes.
You were with someone else in the car. And Mr. Duncan, who was someone who you know, was a friend of yours?
A coworker.
Did you know him socially?
Not really.
It was in the wintertime. According to you, he was sort of acting like an idiot. And he was working on a plow, a snow plow. I assume it was a bad snowstorm because you say that he lifted up the plow. And what did he do?
He persisted to dump the plow full
Not
of...
persisted.
Proceeded.
Proceeded to dump the plow full of snow and large rocks and gravel on the top of my vehicle.
He was being dumb.
I think he thought it would be funny.
That was pretty dumb.
Real cases, real people. Judge Judy. Matthew Bardsley says former co-worker John Duncan vandalized his car by dumping snow on top of the roof.
So after the snow melted and got all the stuff off the car, you noticed that there was a lot of damage to your car, and you want Mr. Duncan to pay for the damage.
Yes.
Can I see the photographs that you have?
Thanks.
Mr. Duncan, who is this lady?
This was my girlfriend, Tiffany.
Was she there that day?
She was not.
So why is she here, sir?
To testify that we did call the insurance company to have his car taken care of.
Oh, okay.
It's from July. It's from February.
Oh, well, you showed me what it was like after you had the car fixed, sir. Is that right?
That was just a picture of the car so you could match up the other pictures to
But
it.
this is after you had it fixed.
It hasn't been fixed yet.
Well, I didn't see. This picture, according to you, was taken February of 2004.
Yes.
Showing all of the dents and stuff in the car.
Uh-huh.
And I don't see the dents or anything else in this picture.
Well,
And
that's,
this was
it's
taken
from
in
far away.
June of 2004. February, March, April, May, June. So you didn't have the car fixed?
I haven't had the car fixed yet.
This was not a good picture to bring.
What, Your Honor?
This was not a good picture to bring.
Okay.
Now, you were working a snow plow?
Yes.
Why did you dump the snow on Mr. Bardsley's car?
I was plowing the parking lot of the store. Mr. Bardsley pulled up next to me while I was working on it. Him and his friend got out of the car. They actually gathered some snow off of the roof of his car and actually threw it at me while I was driving the plow.
Threw it at you?
Snowballs.
Snowballs.
While I was driving the plow.
Okay.
So then I picked up a scoop of snow, dumped it out of his car, didn't think about the rocks being in from the gravel from the
So you
gravel.
didn't think?
Correct.
Your Honor.
He didn't. For somebody who brings these pictures, I wouldn't speak. Do you understand?
Yes.
So you didn't think about all the schmutz that might have been in
Correct.
the snow, rocks, gravel, all kinds of things.
Correct.
So he wants you to pay for all the damage that you caused to his car. And you
Correct.
say you shouldn't have to pay for that because...
After the accident, I believe it was the following day I saw him at work, he goes, hey, there's some dents on my car. I go, sorry about that. Let me give my insurance lady a call. They said, not a problem. Have him take his car down to the shop. We'll have it all taken care of for him. I saw him the next day at work. I told him that. He said, okay, not a problem. I then had the weekend off from work. I went back to work, and they said, sorry, you're fired. He filed a claim through the store.
So he took the scoop of junk and put it on your car, and he acknowledged that it was a dumb thing to do, and that he said to you, I'm sorry, I'll get in touch with my insurance. Did he tell you that?
No, he didn't.
Did he ever say anything about his insurance?
He told me that he would try contacting his insurance company.
Okay.
And see what he could do.
And did you speak to him again with regard to his insurance?
No, I didn't.
So you filed the claim with the store.
I filed the claim with the store before he talked to me about it.
Did they ever give you any money?
No, they didn't. They told me that he acted out of the scope of his employment.
Well, it is out of the scope of his employment. His employment doesn't give him the option of acting like an idiot. Your counterclaim is that since he reported this incident to the company, you lost your job.
Correct.
Explain to me how that's a lawsuit.
I had already had it all set up with my insurance company to have his car taken care of. Had he just allowed me to take care of it through the insurance company, I'd still be employed. I'd still have my medical benefits and my 401k, which I brought.
It's his prerogative. I would have said to him as soon as it happened, listen, I'm really sorry. I'm going to pay for this immediately. Not my insurance company. I'll pay you for it. In any event, he has the right to notify. First of all, you were behaving badly.
Correct.
You know, if he acted like a fool, somebody like you shouldn't be employed in that capacity. Because if he threw a snowball at you, that might have been a stupid thing to do. But the reaction to that wasn't to take a scoopful of snow or debris and other stuff and throw it on his car. So your counterclaim's dismissed because your counterclaim's ridiculous. How much is it going to cost to fix your car, sir?
I have an estimate right here, Your Honor. I got two of them, actually. It's about $2,800 worth of damage.
What kind of car is this?
It's a 92 Subaru SVX.
You still insured by the same company that insured you in February, sir?
Yes.
Okay, fine. Tell your insurance company they're going to owe you $2,700 because that's the least of the two estimates that I have. Judgment for the plaintiff in the amount of $2,700. You working now, Mr. Duncan?
Yes.
Good. What kind of work are you doing?
Contractor.
Good. Are you happy?
No.
You want to go back to work for the children's toy store?
I do.
They don't want you. Thank you. Bye.
Parties are excused. You may step out.
Office Assistant Roseanne Chronister and her son, 17-year-old Corey Rossell, are suing construction worker Russell Wynn for the cost to fix Corey's Ford Taurus. Corey claims Russell was chasing him and ran him off the road.
That's case number 212 on the calendar in the matter of Rossell Chronister versus Wynn. Parties have been sworn in, Judge. You may be seated.
Miss Chronister, this is your son?
Yes.
He's 17 years old?
Yes.
Have you ever had any trouble with him driving a car?
That was the first incident. He had only had his license for a month when this incident occurred.
Okay. What's your first name?
Corey.
So let's talk about this, Corey. Okay. According to your complaint, Mr. Wynn is a real nut. And he chased you in his car for no reason and caused you to have an accident. And after you had the accident and he caught up with you, he slammed his car into yours, causing damage to your car. So you had damage from the accident and you had damage from his car hitting yours.
Yeah.
And in addition, you say that he slammed the trunk of your car on your arm.
Yes, ma'am.
When you went to get a baseball bat out of the trunk of your car, and that caused you injury. All told, you want Mr. Wynn to compensate you in the amount of $2,000.
Yes, ma'am.
Mr. Wynn says that he was being a good Samaritan.
Yes, ma'am.
That he saw you involved in a hit-and-run accident. You took off after you hit something, and he was following you until he could get the police to apprehend you. So I'm going to start with you, Mr. Wynn. On what day were you being this good Samaritan?
June 30th, I believe it was.
April 30th.
April 30th. I'm sorry, excuse me.
And where were you going to and where were you coming from?
I was coming home from work.
And what time of the day was it that you were coming home from work?
Approximately 3:45, 10 to 4.
What kind of car were you driving?
I drive a 95 Dodge van. It's my work van, so I carry all my equipment and tools in it. It's a full-size van.
And what car were you driving, Corey?
95 Ford Taurus.
Whose car is that?
That was my car. It was in her name, but I was driving it.
Who was with you?
3 of my friends were with me.
Did you ever have an agreement with your mother not to drive other people around in your car?
No, ma'am.
All right, Mr. Wynn. So you're driving down the road, and what do you see that draws your attention?
I was heading south on Blanding. He was coming north on Blanding. There was a white car. It was a good ways ahead of me, probably 100, 150 yards ahead of me.
Ahead of you?
Ahead of me.
So you're going in the opposite direction?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
He made the turn to go down Alligator, which is my road that I go down also. I seen him hit the back end of the white car. It wasn't real hard, but he did hit it and just took off. I mean, he just nailed it and went. The lady who was driving the other car, which I didn't stop, had pulled over, was getting out of the car as I rounded the corner, and I just stepped on it trying to catch up with the car, see if I could at least get the tag number. That's all my intention was, is to get the tag number. Well, being he's in a smaller car and I'm in a big van with a lot of tools and equipment, I couldn't keep up with that van, with the car.
My car is not a smaller car. It's not like a little bitty car. It's a big car. I could fit like probably 6 or 7 people in my car.
I'm not asking you that, Corey, dear.
Sorry.
Mrs. Chronister, you weren't there.
I know.
You weren't there. Does Mr. Wynn look like a nut to you?
No.
He does not. He doesn't look like a nut.
But I believe his behaviors throughout the thing were...
Just a second. He doesn't look like a nut.
No.
So if your son told you that he didn't hit this car, his son is lying to you.
My son never said he did not. He admitted to hitting the car, even to the police.
Good. So you hit this car.
Yes, ma'am, I bumped the car.
After you hit the car, what did you do?
On the Alligator, the road that he was turning on, we stopped. The other car was going the other way, like we were in the median and we were coming across. We stopped and looked over, and then her car just kept going. So we just kept going. And then with this car, the van, we seen a van behind us. I started taking the turns to go to my house. They were like, "This van's following you." I said, "The van's following me?" They said, "Yeah, speed up." So I said,
just a second. Did you get out of your car to look and see if there was any damage on your car?
No, ma'am.
Why not? When you hit somebody, when you hit somebody and you're moving, that's what you do.
Yes, ma'am. It was a very slight bump, so I knew there was nothing wrong with the car.
Got it?
Yes.
Now, I can understand a woman in a car with 4 men in another car who's bumped, maybe not feeling comfortable about pulling to a complete stop, if that's what she says is happening. But that doesn't mean his first reaction isn't to get a plate number and then report it to the police, right?
I had no disagreement with that. Right.
Fine. So he started following you. And then what happened?
So they were like, "He's following you." So I took down a couple roads. I was still driving, just regular driving, and he kept following.
Now, you saw him immediately after you hit the white car.
No, man, I took a turn, and then they.
Why did you take a turn?
I never saw him. My friend said.
Why did you take a turn?
Because I was turning to go to my house. I just kept going. I didn't think nothing of it.
What street did you turn down?
It's just like a little dirt road that comes onto a Alligator.
Do you know what street he's talking about?
No, ma'am, I had it written down, but I didn't. I apologize, I didn't bring it. But he turned down that one. He turned down several of them. As far as regular driving,
roads.
He was fishtailing.
You hit the white car, and how much later did you take a turn?
Probably 5 minutes. I mean, I had to go down Alligator a little ways.
3 blocks.
3 blocks. Now, he's following you. You're 4 guys in a car. He's 1 guy in a van.
Well, we didn't know who. Like, I couldn't see inside his van. We didn't know anything about the van. We just knew that they kept saying he was following you. He's following you. So I said, okay, well, let's find out if he's following me. So I started turning down roads that I wasn't on my way to go home. And I just turned down and turned him, and he's still there. I started looking in my rearview mirror. He's still there.
Why didn't you go down the road and go home and call the police?
Because my house was an hour away from there. I live a long way away from town.
Well, what about your friends? How close do they live?
I would have had
Corey.
Yes,
Corey.
Yes, ma'am.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
As a very, very dear friend of mine says, everybody's entitled to their opinion. You have your opinion, I have my opinion. Ultimately, it's only my opinion that counts.
And later today.
So you went from her to her, back to her. Is that right? Is that what you're telling me?
Yeah, that's my
You must have some secret something, George, and if you do, it's got to be a good secret, because I don't see it.
Real cases, real people. Judge Judy. 17-year-old Corey Rossell says fellow motorist Russell Wynn ran him off the road during a chase. Russell says Corey was fleeing the scene of a traffic accident.
Now, did you ever think that the woman that you hit in the white car was thinking the same thing about you and your 4 friends in your car?
No, ma'am, because we had stopped and we saw her drive off, so we just thought it was just...
She didn't drive off.
No, ma'am, he didn't even slow down.
She didn't drive off. That's what you told your mother.
If he'd have stopped, ma'am, I'd have went on my way, thought nothing of it.
If she would have stopped, how would he have known that she stopped if he was following us from the minute that he saw it?
Because he says he saw you hit her and take off. That's how.
That didn't happen. We stopped. I swear we stopped.
That's what you do when you hit another car, even if it's a little bump. You get out, you look at your car, you look at their car, you say, is everything all right? Are you all right? And then you leave. Unless you're scared that you've had your driver's license for a month, you got 4 friends in the car, and maybe if you just take off, this whole nasty thing's just going to go away. It's just common sense, Corey. That's what makes the world go round, common sense. That's why he was chasing. He's not a nut. He sees 4 kids in a car, hit another car, and take off. And that's why he was following you.
There was other incidents that made me feel different after the fact that we got onto the main road, and he was still right behind me. Well, it's just rained, so it was pretty slick outside, and I started going through all these roads. I finally got to the end of the road, so I turned onto a main road, and he was still right behind me. He's still there. He got right up beside my car. This is why I didn't think he was actually following me, because he ran my car off of the road. And he ran my car off the road to where he almost ran right into my driver's side door. And then he got out, and all I could hear was him cussing and cussing and cussing. And so I just took off. I was like, I'm not going to sit here for this. And I took off, and then I was like, I'm turning here, and it just rained, and I had a lot of dirt on my tires, so it's slick, and I just ran right into the tree. And then after I hit the tree, I backed up, and the guy was still back there. And I started going through the parking lot, and they're like, he's still there.
And you got 3 other teenagers in the car with you.
Yes, ma'am.
Oh, I know.
Yeah. He's supposed to stop.
Well, I agree at one instant, but I'll be honest, I have told my children that because previously in Florida around our area, people have been shot, you know.
You mean cars bumped?
Cars bumped, you know, all that
That's why
kind of
the white car may have moved on with 4 men in the car behind them.
I agree.
How do you not do the right thing and then come to court to sue about it?
Because I think he took justice into his own hands. I think he could have taken the license plate down.
Just a second. Do you think that your son was driving recklessly during that time?
I'm not saying he was in the right either, but I'm just...
Listen to me, Ms. Chronister. Then what you have to say is, if my son did something wrong, and as a result of my son doing something wrong, there was damage to my car, you don't come to court and sue over it.
I guess my main problem and concern comes in from when they did get on the main road, and he did come up on the side of them to the point where...
So get him over so that he would stop his car.
And when he did stop his car, he comes out cussing and hollering.
How many minutes did it take for him to chase you down?
Probably 20, 25.
He's on his way home from work.
And I understand that, but it's not even like his car was involved in it. He was supposedly being a good Samaritan, I understand, but I just think he went overboard.
You're entitled to your opinion. As a very, very dear friend of mine says, everybody's entitled to their opinion. You have your opinion, I have my opinion. Ultimately, it's only my opinion that counts. Your son did the wrong thing. He hit a car, he took off from the accident. This gentleman who was just looking to go home after a day's work said, that's not right. They just hit this lady in a car and took off. 4 kids in a Taurus, and I'm going to catch up with him, and I'm going to get his license plate, and I'm going to see to it that he's reported, and your son takes off and takes him on a 25-minute chase. I would have taken away his driving privileges. Did you get him a new car?
No.
Good. Your case is dismissed.
But, ma'am,
Thank you,
I have a question, though. After my son wrecked, this is where the punitive comes in, he hits him from behind, gets out of his car with a bat, and follows my son with a bat in his hand, screaming and yelling at him.
Threatening him
How is
with
that?
a bat.
And what did your son do?
My son stood there and yelled. They were yelling. His car was smoking. Then my son went around and went to get the bat, and that's when
Went to get his bat.
Right.
Case is dismissed. Goodbye.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Parties are excused. You may step out.
She kept going, like I said.
My intention was only to get his tag number.
No evidence was found that I hit her.
I was bound and determined to get the tag number.
There was no evidence she was ever there.
That's the only thing I was trying to do is get a tag number.
It's just my word against his, and I guess his won.
I just doing my duty.
And now the next case. Costume designer Diane Starling says her former live-in boyfriend, Frank Bartelli, owes for unpaid rent and a loan for tires. Frank says Diane's drinking forced him to move.
Come to order. All rise. Everybody get up. Be quiet. Thank you. Your Honor, it's case number 162 on the calendar in the matter of Starling versus Bartelli. Parties have been sworn in, Your Honor. You may be seated.
Miss Starling, Mr. Bartelli was your former live-in boyfriend, and according to your complaint, he owes you a whole bunch of money. He owes you some money for rent, he owes you some money for some court costs that you laid out for him. You want him to pay for new tires for your car. All in all, you're really annoyed with him. I gather that Mr. Bartelli moved out unceremoniously with no notice. Is that right, sir?
I feel I don't owe her the money.
No. You moved out unceremoniously, which means that you didn't have a discussion with her, you didn't sit down and talk to her, you just packed up your things, you decided you had enough, and you just left.
Your Honor, I just fed up with it. I don't feel I should have...
Just say yes. Just say yes. That's what you said here.
Nah, I don't feel it's right.
Oh, this is going to be harder than I thought. I'm going to get to you in a second. All right, Miss Starling. I have to see if I'm playing now with a level playing field. Here we go, because I haven't asked you a question yet. When did you and Mr. Bartelli move into this apartment that you shared?
In October of 2003, Your Honor.
Had you lived together before?
Yes.
And when you moved into this apartment, did you both sign the lease?
Yes, we did.
Can
And I
I
have
see
a copy of that.
the lease?
I don't think I didn't sign the lease.
Oh, take me back to the family court, please. Okay, so, Mr. Bartelli, it is your statement, sir, that you did not sign the lease. Is that, you did not sign the lease?
I don't remember signing the lease.
Ah, that's a different thing. Shut up. I believe you said I didn't sign no lease. Is that right?
Yes, ma'am.
And that was a quote, because that was bad grammar. Now you say I don't remember signing the lease. Is that right, sir?
Yeah.
So then, Officer Byrd, would you please show Mr. Bartelli this witnessed signature on the lease?
It's your signature.
Yeah, but I don't remember signing it.
Mr. Bartelli?
You just don't remember.
Mr. Bartelli, that's possible that you don't remember signing it,
Mm-hmm.
but that doesn't mean you didn't sign it.
See, me and Miss Starling were together, and she sent roses and flowers to my office trying to get us back together. Then whenever I didn't comply to that, she took and sent me court papers.
Miss Starling, I don't want to hear from you. I want him. He's dying to say this. So you know what my sense is? If I let him say this maybe once, maybe he'll get it out of his system so that when I ask him questions, he'll give me a relevant answer. All right? So, Mr. Bartelli, go to it.
Excuse me?
All I said to you was, sir, the fact that you don't remember signing it is belied by the fact that you did actually sign it in front of a witness. And you started to tell me about flowers and candy that she sent you. And I didn't see how those two things were connected in any way?
Well, me and Miss Starlin used to drink, and we quit drinking. We moved to Orlando, and then she had lost her job, and her son moved in with us. So I felt I owed her money because I had to pay that money. And then she started drinking. That's why I left. And then when I left, she started sending flowers and stuff to my job, and then I didn't comply to that, and she sent me court papers.
Now he got it all out of his system, right? That's your whole story,
Yeah.
and you're sticking to it,
I feel
right?
I don't owe the money.
That's your story, and you're sticking to it.
Mm-hmm.
Good. Now we have to go do this my way, which is collect information, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then I have to make a ruling on her lawsuit. Do you understand, Mr. Bartelli?
Mm-hmm.
What kind of work do you do, sir?
I do carpentry work.
Okay. Which I assume you understand very well.
Mm-hmm.
Good. This is what I understand. I understand evidence. Is that clear?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so you signed a lease on the apartment in October of 2003. And when did he move out?
April 3rd, 2004.
Now, you moved out, sir, because according to what you said in your mentally prepared statement, she started to drink again, you didn't want to live with her anymore.
Yeah.
So you want to tell me whether you discussed moving out, or you didn't discuss moving out, or you just packed your bags one day and left?
I just packed my bags and left.
If you just packed your bags one day and left, sir, you are still responsible, at least partially, on this lease. You signed a lease, obligating yourself to pay half the rent for a period of time. Do you understand that?
Mm-hmm.
Now, why do you think that you shouldn't be held responsible for at least paying the rent until such time as she can secure someone else that she wants to live with, if that's at all possible?
Well, I feel I didn't ask her for money whenever she had lost her job and her son had moved in with us, and I didn't ask for money back for that. So why should I have to pay that?
How much
rent?
were you supposed to pay in rent, Mr. Bartelli?
The rent's $1,000 a month.
So your half was $500?
Mm-hmm.
And how did you expect her to cover the other $500 a month for the remainder of the lease?
Yeah, but see, I didn't ask her for money for the electric and food and stuff like that.
I paid her. Oh. Okay. All right. Now, you also claim that you helped him out when he was arrested a while ago by giving him $500 to pay for some bad checks that he had written. And Mr. Bartelli, you don't deny that you had gotten yourself into some criminal trouble.
No, I don't deny, but see, all of our money was in together.
No.
She might have
Listen to me.
paid that, but I paid this.
Listen!
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
So is what you're telling me, after you wrote this series of bad checks, you decided to open up a joint checking account with you?
No way.
Yeah, just to say. I just got a savings.
And later today,
I reached back and pulled the chair up so I could sit down. He had pulled that chair, and I fell down, and I yelled, "Philip, why did you move that chair?" He laughed.
real cases, real people. Judge Judy. Diane Starling says ex-boyfriend Frank Bartelli owes for unpaid rent and a loan for tires. Frank says he and Diane shared their money.
Let me remind you what you said, sir, in your answer. You said, I don't deny that she gave me the money for these bad checks.
Yeah.
How did you pay her back for the jail bail money?
Well, she had borrowed the money from her brother. And like I said, we worked and all of her money was in one bank account. So she might have took the money out to pay that, but we took my money out to pay other bills. So all of her money was in the same account.
But you said that she borrowed that $500 from her brother.
Yeah, she paid her brother.
So if she borrowed that $500 from her brother, did you pay her brother back the $500?
Yeah, she sent checks to her brother.
She sent her checks to her brother for the $500.
Mm-hmm.
And the $500 was coming out of a bank account that you both pooled your money for household expenses. Is that right?
Mm-hmm.
Is that right?
No, everything.
What's everything?
All of her money was in the same account. My whole check gets deposited, and hers did too.
Well, was this bad check money an expense that you anticipated?
No, this is all of her money was in the same account.
Try to listen to what I'm saying, Mr. Bartelli. When you wrote the bad checks, did you know you were going to have to pay them back?
Yes.
So why did you write them?
At the time, I didn't have no money, didn't have a choice.
So it was always your intention to pay back the money for the bad checks, is that right?
Mm-hmm.
In what year did you write the bad checks?
2002.
And when did they finally catch up with you?
2003.
On what checking account did you write the bad checks?
That was out of my checking account.
Why didn't you use your joint account that you had with her?
Because we didn't have that account at that time.
So is what you're telling me, after you wrote this series of bad checks, you decided to open up a joint checking account with you?
No way.
No, just a savings. I just got
no
a savings. I just got a savings account. She got a
So you
checking
didn't have a joint checking account?
No.
No.
Please.
All right. Now let's get to the tires. He used your truck, and after he left, you found the tires needed to be replaced.
Were bald.
They were
With
bald.
wires
Well,
showing
that's
this
your
much.
fault. Listen, Diane, darling, you let him use the truck, right?
Right. I didn't notice they were so bad.
Listen to me. Well, you should have noticed. Mr. Bartelli, I know that you don't feel as if you owe Miss Starling any money, but you do. You can't just decide that you are fed up and pack up your bags and move out, because that's immature and it's irresponsible, and it's sticking someone else with a big obligation that they didn't anticipate paying by themselves. Do you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
So you owe her $2,500 for the rent. She also helped you out by borrowing money from her brother, and you didn't pay her back. Despite all your speeches, you didn't pay her back. So I'm entering a judgment in the plaintiff's favor in the amount of $3,000. Do the right thing, Mr. Bartelli, that's all.
Parties are
Thank you.
excused. You may step out.
I think it went very well. I'm glad that Mr. Bartelli is being held accountable for what he did to me.
She just upset because I left her.
Well, I wanted to ask him to step outside, but he was too small.
She just left messages begging me to come back, and I wouldn't do it.
I miss him. He was a good guy, basically.
I hope we could be friends.
And now the next case. Photographer Martin Carroll is suing his ex-girlfriend, waitress Cynthia Clark, for unpaid loans to pay her bills. Cynthia claims the money was paying for her trips to see Martin.
That's case number 215 on the calendar in the matter of Carroll versus Clark. Parties have been sworn in. You may be seated. Folks, have a seat.
Mr. Carroll, I've read your complaint, and according to your story, you met the defendant on a dating website over the internet. You began a long-distance relationship, and over the course of that brief relationship, you loaned her a substantial amount of money.
That's correct, Your Honor.
And then she broke up with you. She told you she had a new boyfriend. You want your money back.
Correct.
Ms. Clark says she never borrowed any money from you. You gave her money. The money that you advanced to her were gifts. She owes you nothing. When did you find each other on the internet?
That'll be about the October of last year.
How old are you, sir?
27.
Where do you live?
I live in Virginia Beach, Virginia.
And you?
I live in Martinsville, Virginia.
How old are you, Ms. Clark?
27.
How many children do you have?
I have 5 children.
When you met on the internet, did you tell Mr. Carroll about your 5 kids?
Yes, ma'am.
Is that right?
Yes,
You were looking for an instant family?
it didn't matter to me. She seemed like a nice person, so I wanted to get to know her better. And the fact that children never bothered me. I love kids, and I don't have any of my own, but I do have a niece who I adore, and I like children, so that condition didn't bother me.
When did you first meet in person?
Weekend of Halloween.
And how often did you see her?
After that, she came to see me about every other weekend, if not every weekend.
And she would come with or without her children?
She'd come with her children.
Did you all get along?
Yeah, got along pretty great. I took care of them for Christmas, and I bought them Christmas presents, which those were gifts. And then about the beginning of last year, beginning of this year is when I started loaning her the money.
When did you break up?
Beginning of May of this year.
Who broke up with whom?
She called me and told me she didn't want to continue the relationship. She said she needed more time in her life with no men in her life and wanted to get her life straight without a relationship, and that she wanted to stay friends and then maybe one day pick her relationship back up where it left off.
Okay, but you had a new boyfriend at that point?
Not at the time. Okay. After a little while, I did start seeing somebody else.
When?
A couple weeks.
A couple of weeks. Waited that long, did you?
It was mainly, I was trying to be nice. It was mainly because we argued all the time.
About what?
Pretty much any little thing you could imagine. Every time we were on the phone, we argued.
Okay. Is this the boyfriend?
Yes, ma'am.
Is he here for any reason?
My witness.
For what?
Money that he was never said that it was a loan.
Well, how would he know that?
Because he was a friend of mine and he was with me all the time.
So you mean while you were dating Mr. Carroll and asking him for money, what's your name?
Triton Horton.
What?
Triton Horton.
First name?
Triton.
Triton. I have to tell that name to my daughter. She likes peculiar names for her children. That's one I haven't heard. Anyway, so Triton was around while you were dating and borrowing money from Mr. Carroll?
I wasn't borrowing any money from Mr. Carroll.
Taking money from Mr. Carroll. How do you like that better?
No.
So Triton was around while you were taking money and seeing Mr. Carroll. That's either a yes or a no, Miss Clark.
Yes, ma'am.
And then he became your boyfriend.
Yes, ma'am.
2 weeks after you dumped Mr. Carroll.
Yes, ma'am.
Does he live with you?
Yes, ma'am.
Since when?
He's been living with me. Well, he lived with me even when we were together. So did his witness.
So, what's your name?
Myra.
Myra lived with you?
Yes, ma'am.
How did you two meet?
In Virginia Beach. I brought her and her boyfriend back home with me because they...
You met through the plaintiff?
Yes, ma'am.
And she came to live with you, and you were living with yourself,
myself at the time.
Your 5 children, Triton, and Myra.
Actually, they lived with us first, and then Triton had moved in when he had lost his apartment.
He lost his apartment because he didn't have any...
Money.
Money. How much money did you give to her over the period of...
Over the course of January through May, I loaned her well over $5,000 via Western Union, which I have receipts right here for every single one.
Now, tell me how it would come about that you gave her this money.
She would call me and like say, you know, I need my bolts are broken on my car, I need to get replaced, or my kids are sick.
Shh, just a second.
My kids are sick, or I'm sick, I need money for food, or you know, I need money for Easter, I need money for car repairs, I need money for my bills, my lights are about to get shut off, my rent's overdue, I'm gonna get kicked out of my house, please, honey, help me out.
Please, honey, help me out. And what did you say to her?
Absolutely. I mean, I cared about her and I cared for her children, so I was going to be willing to look out for them. Since we were supposedly dating at the time, I wanted to make sure she was taken care of. So I loaned her the money.
Well, so far I haven't heard anything about a loan, Mr. Carroll. So far I've heard, babe, can you help me out? And you said, I said, sure, because we would, shh, listen to me, Mr. Carroll. Because I said, sure, you know, we were a couple, we were together, I cared for her, you know, and she needed money, so I wanted to help her out.
Well, it was all under the condition she would also say, you know, I promise I'll pay you back. And Myra here, who was with her almost every single time, she would say, I promise I'll pay you back. And I said, well, I need the money back. And I can't just be giving out all this kind of money and not get it back. And I need some, redemption at one point or another. And she's like, I promise I'll pay you back.
Mr. Carroll, let me tell you something. Don't embellish when you come to court. Because I can hear her saying, honey, I promise I'll pay you back. As soon as I get a job, I promise I'll pay you back. But I don't hear you saying to her, listen, I need some redemption at some point. And that I don't believe. I believe she probably said to you, honey, I promise I'll pay you back. So don't embellish. Because when things don't sound right to my ears, they're usually not true. We understand each other, Mr. Carroll?
Mm-hmm. Yes, ma'am. Yes, Your Honor.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
She was always asking for money. Well, the twins are sick and I need some money, please, so I can get their medication. Yes, she would use some of the money to get the medication, but she was also using the money to buy illegal drugs.
And later today...
Don't stand there and make excuses. You know, you can't get buying good looks. Beauty fades.
We're not.
Ladies, beauty fades. Dumb is forever.
Real cases, real people. Judge Judy. Martin Carroll says ex-girlfriend Cynthia Clark owes for unpaid loans to pay bills. Martin's witness, Myra Edwards, claims Cynthia used the money to buy drugs.
Can I see those, please? What did he give you the money for, Miss Clark?
One time he sent it for Easter to help get my kids Easter baskets. My twins got sick and he had sent me money for medication. Another time he'd send me money to go down to see him because I couldn't afford a trip by myself. I wasn't working at the time, and I do have 5 children, and he wanted to see me, so he would send me money to come see him.
Go ahead, let me hear the rest.
He also had sent me money to fix my car, well, to get another car because my car was messed up.
All this money that he was sending you, it came out as a result of you placing a telephone call to him to say, honey, I need money, because otherwise he wouldn't have known. Is that right?
Yes, ma'am.
So you called him and asked him for money?
Most of the time he offered it to me, but I would talk to him about the problems, and he would offer it to me. You know, I'm here for you. I love you. I'll do anything for you. If you need the help, you know, I'm here for you. I'll send you the money.
Now, all the time he was saying that to you, and you were telling him that you needed money for all these things, Mr. Triton over here, he was living in your house. Is that right?
Yes, ma'am.
and not working because he didn't have any money, which is why he got thrown out of his own house. Is that right?
Yes, ma'am.
Now, Myra, you were living at her house.
Yes, ma'am.
Were you ever present when these phone calls were made
Yes,
asking
Your
for
Honor.
money?
Phone calls were made regularly from her to Martin, and she was always asking for money. Well, the twins are sick, and I need some money, please, so I can get their medication. Yes, she would use some of the money to get the medication, but she was also using the money to buy illegal drugs.
No, ma'am, Your Honor.
Shh, just a second. Did you ever hear her say to the plaintiff anything about paying back the money?
She would be crying to him on the phone, talking about she would pay him back. And then she'd get off the phone with him, well, he's a sucker because he should know that I'm not going to pay him back.
No, ma'am, Your Honor.
Shh.
That...
How many rooms are in this house?
3 bedrooms.
You had one?
No, ma'am.
Where did you sleep?
On the couch.
No, ma'am, Your Honor. She slept in my bedroom.
Shh. Where did Triton sleep?
In the bed with Cindy.
And when did that start?
Around Valentine's Day, because he got out of jail shortly before Valentine's Day.
What were you in jail for?
Probation violation.
Up here. Probation violation for what?
Failing to do my community service.
Community service on what was the underlying charge? Is not an answer.
Felony gun charges.
Were you sentenced to prison on that charge?
I was sent to a year in Henry County Jail.
So that wasn't your first arrest?
No, ma'am, it wasn't.
Right. Okie dokie. And you got out of jail about Valentine's Day?
Yes, just before.
And you moved right back with Miss Clark?
No, ma'am, I didn't move right in with her.
How many days did it take you to move back in with her?
It was more than a few weeks. I had got my own apartment, and then we made an agreement with Myra and her boyfriend that they could move into my apartment since they were sleeping in Cindy's bed.
Now, when she moved out with her boyfriend, where did you move to?
I moved to the air mattress and the living room floor.
You mean you moved out of your apartment where you had a nice, comfortable bed and you slept on the floor? You want me to believe that?
The apartment was a rat's nest.
And that's why she moved in there, because it was a rat's nest.
That's because she didn't want to live there no more.
Miss Clark, I don't believe that there was a contract that was made between you and the plaintiff that I can characterize as a loan. I think that she would call you, ask you for money, you loved her, you gave her the money because it was your intention that the two of you were going to spend your lives together. That be a fair statement?
I wanted to build a relationship. I don't know how long term, but I wanted to, I was looking out for her and kids, and the only reason I did it was on the assumption that she would pay me back. She would always tell me she'd pay me back.
Listen to my question.
Okay.
How did you think she was going to pay you back? With what?
She said
wampum?
She said when she got a job, she'd start paying me back.
Okay, listen. This is somebody whose business is making babies. She's 27 years old. She has 5 children. She has no money. She relies on the largesse of others. She finally got herself a job. She's got a boyfriend who can't, I was going to say who can't get himself arrested, but that wouldn't be true. So you listen to me very carefully, sir. I don't believe that you had what I would consider a valid contract with her to repay you this money. However, I believe that you're entitled to the money from her because I believe she defrauded you. I believe she led you to believe that you were in a monogamous relationship with her. And based on that monogamous relationship that was working towards something that could have been permanent, she was asking you for money. And I believe that all the time she was asking you for money, she was making a fool out of you with Mr. Triton. So she got that money from you fraudulently, and she has to return it. Judgment for the plaintiff in the amount of $5,000. That's all.
Thank you, Your Honor.
No, I did not fraudulate him.
The whole time we were supposedly together, she was cheating on me with Triton.
I should have told him.
She's a lying, trifling.
I'm just glad it's over.
Just watch your back.
And now the next case. Teacher's assistant Michelle Ayana Johnson is suing music producers Terrence Ireland and Jason Pittman for the return of her music and sexual harassment. Terrence and Jason claim the music is theirs to keep.
That's case number 198 on the calendar in the matter of Johnson versus Ireland Pittman. Parties have been sworn in, Judge. You may be seated. Folks, have a seat, please.
Which one is Ireland? Good, so I know where we are. Ms. Johnson, it is your claim that you paid the defendants to produce a music demo for you.
That is correct.
And you paid them, and they didn't deliver what was promised.
That
Now,
is
I don't
correct.
quite understand all of the technical stuff that you put in here. But Mr. Ireland and Mr. Pittman say that you never fully paid, that you don't get some sort of a master tape. This is going to get very complicated. And since you didn't fully pay them, you got everything that you're entitled to. That close enough?
That's very close.
So, how did you find them, and what was this contract that you entered into?
I worked with Terrence Ireland at a group home as a teacher's assistant, and he listened to my demo that
So
said...
you had a demo?
Yes, I had a demo with another producer. And Terrence let me know that he also was a producer and that I should let him listen to my music. He then listened to it and said that he would like to work with me. He invited me down to his studio to meet his cousin Jason in hopes that we would be able to work together.
Go ahead.
As of right now, I am the copyright owner and the author of the lyrics and the melody to the 5 songs that I created with the defendants from November 2003 up until May of 2004. Now, there is no written contract, only a verbal agreement which states a work-for-hire situation in which I pay a flat fee of $500 per song to the defendants and also have the use of their studio and their musical backings. They have no claim to copyright, they have no claim to royalties, and they have no claim to my master. Now,
How do I know that?
Say again?
How do I know that?
Because I created the songs. I also have the copyright material.
Why
that I
don't you have a
copyrighted.
contract?
He told me that I did not need a contract, that all I would need to do is give him $250 up front and $250 in the end for the songs
Doesn't sound
created.
very professional to me, Miss Johnson.
No, which is why I'm no longer wanting their services. That is correct. They raised the price of the 6th song, which I
Who is
started
this?
creating. This here is a musical director of the Grammys and of the Turtles. He also listened to my demo and told me also that it is an unfinished project. And in order for me to finish my project with another producer, they would need my digital formatted copy or master of my music in order to help me. If you'd like to...
Are you following all of this?
Sure.
Why don't you explain it to me?
Okay. She paid them to produce her stuff. They have her master.
Right.
This guy here is telling her that she needs the digital master in order for another producer to help finish out her demo.
How much did you pay them altogether?
I paid them $2,500 for the 5 songs.
You have proof that you paid them $2,500?
I have proof for the 3 songs that I created. They're holding the other 2 receipts.
What'd you pay them in cash?
Yes, that is correct.
How much did she pay you?
She paid us all together. Let's see here. 500, 1,000, 1,500. Let's see. 16, 17, 17, 18, 19. $1,900, Your Honor. Sorry, I didn't have it all added up, but I do have all the receipts.
It says you pay him $1,900.
That is incorrect.
Show me proof that you paid him $25.
I don't have proof. They're
Show
keeping
me.
the other 2 receipts.
Well, how am I supposed to tell? He says you gave him $1,900.
Well, I have a disc of the 5 songs that I created with all 5 songs on them. They would not hand these songs over to me unless I had paid for the songs in which I created.
Well, what is it that you want from them? A master?
I want the master, the digital file that they hold in their possession, and also funds to finish my project. My project is not mixed nor mastered.
So you want them to give you what they got so far, plus give you more money?
Plus give me the money in order to finish. I also
She's not going
have
to do that. I got to do that.
I have to finish.
Well,
right
then we'll
now, my
finish
project,
it.
Right now,
Johnson,
the project is incomplete. On
then
May
find
24th,
somebody to complete it.
Well, on May 24th, Jason sexually harassed me and told me that he works for music and that he could get me a deal if only I slept with him.
That was
I
a very
refused.
nasty thing for him to say. If you said that, that was a very nasty thing for you to say. Let's move on.
I have the 5 songs in which I created. They're withholding the other 2 receipts from me for sexual favors.
Now I don't get it.
What?
Now I don't get it.
I didn't get it either. Still don't get it. I want to get beyond this sexual harassment business that you tacked on to this. You want your master.
I want my master, and I want the funds that I need in order to finish the project.
They're not going to pay you that, Miss Johnson.
Well, that's why I'm here.
Good. Well, that's
They
not
said
going.
they gave
Listen
me a
to me.
deal.
That's not going to happen. Okay, Mr. Pittman, listen to me very carefully, sir. These are her songs, correct?
No.
They're not her lyrics?
No.
They're not her music?
No.
Whose are they?
Ours.
You're telling me that you wrote the music?
Exactly.
Really?
Right.
Who wrote the lyrics?
I did, and Terry did. She actually went out and copywrote the music. Behind our back? Behind our backs. Without our consent.
You don't know anything about that, right, sir?
No.
Because she says she wrote the music. They say they wrote the music.
She wrote the lyric and the melody for the songs.
How do you know?
She told me.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
Listen, when somebody wants to copyright an idea, they don't copyright the idea after they've already let it out of the bag.
Well, I'm the only one that has the copywritten information.
And I'm telling you that that was a bit of slick maneuvering.
And later today.
You jealous type?
No, but...
A little bit?
Sure, isn't everybody?
I don't know. Depends upon if you've got something to be jealous about.
Real cases, real people. Judge Judy. Michelle Ayanna Johnson claims music producers Terrence Ireland and Jason Pittman owe for the return of her music and for sexual harassment.
Now, you don't know who wrote the music. She says she wrote the music. They say they wrote the music.
May I say something, please, about that?
Sure.
There's two elements to a song. The lyric and the melody is the copyrightable item.
Yes.
You cannot copyright an arrangement.
No, I understand that.
Okay, so
that I understand.
She claims to me
that she wrote that.
The lyric
I don't care what you believe. What you believe is irrelevant to me. She said to you, I wrote the lyrics and the melody.
Yes.
He says that he wrote the lyrics.
Lyric and melody. Okay.
I want to see the sheet music when it was written. Let me see. Don't you have that? Somebody have that?
I have the copy written with the Library of Congress that I submitted.
When?
On March of this year, 2004.
Well, when did you record it?
I recorded it from November of 2003.
Well, then what difference does it make if you sent to the Library of Congress something after you made the recordings?
Because I was determined that I was finished working with him.
Listen to me. If you write something, and if you know, Miss Johnson, that what you can do in order to solidify your position as the author of a piece of music, that you copyright it and you sent it to the Library of Congress, why didn't you send it before you recorded it?
Because when the defendants had the beats, I then wrote the music to the beats, so I didn't have the words when I came to the studio.
Just a second. When you say that they wrote the beats is a melody.
No, the guitar and the instruments. I wrote the way the song was supposed to be arranged.
Nobody is ever going to be able to tell what happened here because the three of you, semi-professionals, don't have a contract. And I'm not going to be able to tell who came in with the music and who didn't. You copyrighted something, but you copywrote it after you recorded it. So if you write the words to music and you want to copyright the words that you wrote to music, you copyright them by sending them into the Library of Congress.
What I did.
You did it after you recorded them.
Well, I was still recording. This shows in March. This date here shows the March
Listen to
of
me. You said you
2004.
started in November.
I started with them in November.
Right. You started with them in November.
Right.
Miss Johnson.
And it took about a month and a half to finish a song.
I cannot tell who wrote this music.
Well, I'm the only one that has the copywritten information.
And I'm telling you that that was a bit of slick maneuvering because you already had recorded them. You already in March decided not to work with them anymore. So you said, bet you they didn't copyright it. So then you sent in your copyright to the Library of Congress. And I'm telling you, if you were operating in good faith, you would have done it before since you knew how to do it.
Amen.
Listen, when somebody wants to copyright an idea, they don't copyright the idea after they've already let it out of the bag. They do it beforehand.
Well, Andy Kahn heard my music, and he told me also that my project was not finished. But after the fifth
Miss Johnson,
song...
I can't help you, my dear. Can't help you. Case is dismissed. That's what you have. You have 2 demos.
Parties are excused. You may step out.
Judge Judy, she made the right decision.
Well, I think it was a total sham.
She came in a I Dream of Jeannie costume with finger cymbals and tried to perform a dance for us in order to take our minds off the pocket.
That's just their dream and their fantasy.
We got a little rap for y'all. Bust it out. Check it out. Check it out. Yo. You can call me Jason or even Perry Mason. You got to pay whether you recording or you hating. You want to dance with Jason, but you ain't got the skill. We went on Judge Judy, yeah, we kill.
And now the next case. 16-year-old Erica Mandair and her mother, Deborah Segura, are suing Lavinia Kennard, her daughter, 15-year-old Brittany Williams, and her nephew, 17-year-old Cornell Martin, for an assault. Erica says the defendants beat her up during an argument at a mall.
Your Honor, case number 210 on the calendar in the matter of Segura Mandair versus Kennard Williams Martin. Parties have been sworn in, Judge. You may be seated.
What's your first name?
Erica.
And your last name?
Mandair.
Your mother, Ms. Segura, is that right? Now, Ms. Segura, you're really suing on behalf of your daughter because you claim that your daughter was assaulted by these two people who were being supervised by Mrs. Kennard.
Yes, ma'am.
This is Mrs. Kennard's daughter, and this is Mrs. Kennard's nephew. According to your complaint, you dropped your daughter off at a mall. She was meeting up with her friend, cousin Jennifer. You got a call about an hour later, crying, indicating that she had been assaulted. But you really don't know anything about this matter yourself. It's your daughter. So why don't you have a seat for a moment? Erica, on what date did you go to the mall?
June 11, 2004.
And it was just you and your cousin Jennifer who were planning to meet that day?
Yes.
Tell me what happened with Miss Kennard's daughter and nephew.
We had been in the store, and we went over to look at the shoe section. Brittany and Cornell were sitting down, and they looked at us and started laughing. They were talking about my makeup. Brittany said, "Wow, look at her makeup. She looks like a clown." And so I was like, you know, I get that all the time, you know, people talking about my makeup. And so we walked to go pay for our things at the counter, and the witness, the one that's sitting down...
This young lady?
Yes. She was up there, and they walked up to her and told her about me, and then she looked at me and started laughing. I was like, okay, I still didn't think anything of it, so I paid for my stuff, and we were walking out. And then, all of a sudden, I hear the mother, she started laughing really loud. And I looked back, and she said, "What are you looking at?" And so I was like, why?
Make sure you tell me exactly what you said, because even if you said something disrespectful at the time, I want to hear the truth. Do you understand?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And I said, "Why do you guys have to talk about me? We didn't do anything to you." And then she started getting really loud, just their hands up and everything. And then they started walking to us, and me and my cousin we walked back.
Walked back towards them?
Walked back towards the counter, got back into the store.
Why didn't you just keep going?
Because both times I didn't think anything of it, and there were so many people in the store, and I was like, why? We didn't do anything. Why are we being humiliated? So,
you're right.
So I was like, no, I have to say something.
So what'd you say?
I told him, I said, why are you talking about us? We didn't do anything to you.
What was wrong with her makeup that day?
I didn't say nothing about it. I didn't say anything about it.
What did you say?
No, because me and him was having a conversation.
What did you say?
Nothing.
What were you and Cornell having a conversation about?
A movie, Medea.
A movie, Medea?
Yes.
What was the movie Medea about? Even she can't keep her mouth straight. Look at her. She can't stop from smiling. Do you understand?
Yes.
Right?
No.
Why do you think all this problem started, young lady?
I don't know. Me and my cousin were just having a conversation about the movie, and I guess she thought we was talking about her.
And what did she say to you?
So she turned around and I guess she asked her cousin if is that a he, she, is that a girl or a boy? And Cornell, my cousin, turned around and said, "What happened?" She was like, "I wasn't talking to you." So me and him went back to our conversation, and I guess they walked to the counter. That's when my mom came over there. My mom walked over there, and we walked over there.
Oh, walked over where?
To the counter. And as we was walking to the counter, they was leaving, and they turned around, and they mugged my mom. My mom asked them.
What do you mean they mugged your mom?
Like, gave her a crazy look.
Show me how they did that.
She was like, they just turned around and looked at her like this.
You mean like this? Is that what you're doing? Yeah. So
and
they turned around and gave your mom a look.
And my mom was like, "Do you guys have a problem?" And she was like, "Well, yo, she's over there talking about it." My mom said, "What he, she? This is my daughter and my nephew." So she said, "What are you talking about?" She was like, "Well, they over there talking about us, and we ain't said nothing to them." My mom's like...
So this young lady said, "Why are they talking about us? We didn't say anything to them." That's what she said to your mom. Is that right?
Yes.
What happened next?
So after she asked her, my mom was like, "Well, nobody was talking about you. They was talking to each other, and they was talking to me. So where did that come in that they was talking about you?" She was like, "Well, they was over there laughing and giggling and looking at me and laughing." And my mom said, "What was they talking about then?" She was like, "I assume they was talking about my makeup." And my mom was like, "Well, what's wrong with it? There must be a problem with it if they was talking about you." And the girl was like, "Well, I don't know." And that's when she started getting physical, and she started...
Tell me how she got physical.
Well, she started cussing. She was like...
She started cursing?
Yeah.
The girl, She started cursing. What did she say?
Well, she was like, this effing over there talking about me and my cousin about our makeup. And my mom was like, what are you talking about? And she just kept cussing. My mom was like, well, do you talk to your mother with that kind of mouth? And the girl was like, no. She was like, well, if I was your mother, I would have been talk to you about that mouth. And the girl was like, well, you're not my mother. And she called my mom a B. And that's when we walked up. My mom told us to stand back because there's no problem.
Go ahead.
So the girl, she was like, well, yo, he, and that's when they walked towards us. And me and my cousin was standing next to my mom. The girl had walked towards us, and she was like, well, y'all was over there talking about me and my makeup, and we was like, no, we wasn't. And then the girl came up to my cousin, and the girl had pushed my cousin. She had given like...
Just a second. Who pushed whom?
The witness over there.
This young lady pushed somebody?
She pushed him. She gave him like a two-finger little tap.
A two-finger little tap?
Like when you go like this, she did it
twice.
Okay,
and then what happened after she gave him a two-finger little tap?
She was like, well, I guess you're going to hit a girl. And he was like, no, I'm not even tripping off of you. And she was like, whatever. And then that's when she had punched my cousin in the stomach. And then that's when she had rushed him. And the other girl, Erica, I guess, she had jumped in. That's when I had jumped in and tried to pull one of them off. And then that's when the girl got up and swung at me. And that's when we all started to fight.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
She said, I could say what I want to say. I said, if I was your mother, I would whoop you because you're disrespectful right now. She said, I ain't disrespectful.
Real cases, real people. Judge Judy. 16-year-old Erica Mandair says Lavinia Kennard, Brittany Williams, and Cornell Martin owe for an assault at a mall. Erica says Brittany and Cornell were making fun of her makeup.
Up here. Did you punch him?
No.
Did you two-finger him?
No.
Did you put your hands on him at all?
I put my hand like this because I knew he was going to come at me, and I didn't even touch him.
Why was he going to come at you?
Because I remember he was in my face, and I was like, you're going to hit a girl, and he goes, I don't care what you are. And then he just pushed me, and I fell to the ground.
Did you say that, Cornell?
No.
Well, what did you say?
She gave me the two-finger push, and I said, don't put your hands on me. And she said, oh, well, you a dude. You going to put your hands on the female? I was like, no, I'm not going to put my hand on the female. And then she pushed me back again, and then that's when she socked me in my stomach.
How did she do that?
She took her two fingers and pushed me back like this, and then she took her hand and then pushed me out of the way. And then at the time I was moving back, she socked me.
With her fist?
Yes.
Were you winded?
Yes.
Did you fall down?
No.
What happened next?
I stumbled. And then when I stumbled, the other girl rushed me into the clothes.
Where was Jennifer at the time that Erica rushed you into the clothes?
Fighting with Brittany.
Was Jennifer on the ground?
Yes.
How did Jennifer get on the ground?
Because they was fighting.
How did she get there is my question.
She got knocked to the ground.
By whom?
Brittany.
By Brittany?
Yes.
Where was your mother?
She wasn't paying attention at the time. She was paying attention, but she didn't notice the fight until after she tried to pull us off. But she couldn't break it up.
Stand up. When you came to get your daughter at the mall, did you take her for any treatment?
Yes. She was taken by ambulance to the local hospital.
Can I see the medical report? Any photographs taken of her face?
Yes, there is.
Can I see, please? Who punched you in the face?
It was Kennard and Brittany.
Why'd you punch her in the face? Why did you punch her in the face?
I didn't punch her in the face.
Who punched her in the face? Who punched her in the face?
I don't know. We was fighting, so somebody's gonna obviously. She got hit in the face as we was fighting.
Well, I'm asking you, who punched her in the face?
We don't know because we was all fighting at once, and it was a big old bunch.
Well, where are your photographs of your injuries?
I didn't have any.
We don't have none. We don't have injuries.
You want to say anything?
Yes, Your Honor.
First, I have a couple of questions for you. You take 3 children. Are these 3 children you took to the mall?
Yes.
Why aren't you properly supervising them?
Your Honor, they was properly supervised.
No, they weren't. They were properly supervised. They wouldn't have been involved in an assault.
The way the little girl's saying it is not the way she was performing. The performance of these 2 young girls, I had these 2 sitting on the bench. I had my 11-year-old standing in line while I looked at a purse.
They were on their way out the store.
They was not, Your Honor. They lying.
Really? Where were they when this took place?
When they was at the cash register paying for their stuff. As I'm walking up to it, they turns around. This is the cash register. They turns around, both of them, and mad dogs me as the mother.
What's mad dog? What does that mean?
That means like they looking at you, they staring you up and down, just, you know, like, you know, they finna beat you up. That's how the looks both of them gave me. So when I walk up, I look over my shoulder, I look around me. I'm like, what? You tell them MFs, he, she's, quit talking about me. She's in my face. I'm at the register. I'm walking up now to this.
Right. Okay.
So I'm like, they talk about Jesus Christ. I mean, so what did they say about you? She couldn't tell me what they said about them. She was abusing me like I was in it. She cussing at me. She talking crap to me and disrespecting me. And I asked her, do your mother allow you to talk like that to an adult? She said, I could say what I want to say. I said, if I was your mother, I would whoop you because you disrespectful right now. She said, I ain't disrespectful. Excuse my language. And she called me a B. And so that's when them 2 came up, and they said, don't talk about my mother and my auntie. So I pushed them back. And next thing I know, the young girl over there, she's flinching at him. She's standing at his face like, what? You know, she flinching. And then she took him and pushed his shoulders. And then she took her fist and she hit him. He fell back into the clothes. By the time I'm over here to get these 2 breaking up, the other 2 start fighting. So when I get through breaking these, get ready to break these, he come around to get her off of the other one. They never stopped. They just kept going at it with him. So when I finally got them both apart, she had a purse laying there with money. I picked her purse and her money up and gave it to the lady at the register. She said she's gonna call the police. I said, we're gonna stand here till you call the police until they come.
Real cases, real people. Judge Judy. 16-year-old Erica Mandair claims Lavinia Kennard, Brittany Williams, and Cornell Martin attacked her while she was shopping at the mall.
Let me see the police report, please.
And, Your Honor, I couldn't even get one. They told me I wasn't allowed to get a police report if there was minors.
I was, Your Honor, okay.
Well, Miss Kennard, there is a witness in the store who told the police that there was a fight. And this witness, not you, not any one of these people, but this witness who was just in the store, the witness said she heard you tell your daughter and your nephew to fight them.
Your Honor, I didn't do that.
Okay.
That's the honest God truth.
Okay. Would be a fair statement that at the end of the police investigation, after speaking to witnesses and you, that the 2 of you were cited for fighting in a public place. Is that correct?
Yes. No, they had cited all 4 of them, Your Honor.
You 2 girls cited? Mm-hmm. But what happened with those cases?
We went to a aware witness.
Anger management is what?
See, they didn't get anger management. They got a aware witness where they had to go for 2 hours, and I sit there with them and pay $10 and letting them know they can't fight in public and letting them know how it is.
And what did you have to do?
An anger management class.
Same thing?
I didn't. She did.
She didn't get anything.
Why do you think that is?
Why what?
Well, she had to go to an anger management program.
She didn't go to it.
Yeah, that's what it is. Fighting in public, anger management, whatever it is.
All
And
right.
he did. And Jennifer did. But not her.
My thing was, to me, Your Honor, the girls started it first. So they hit first. They could have paid for this.
No, she didn't hit anybody first.
Yeah, they both hit.
No. That's not true. She didn't hit anybody first. Jennifer may have put her hands on Cornell. She didn't hit anybody first.
She hit her. Her and Brittany fought.
I don't believe she hit somebody first. You didn't handle, listen, their mother wasn't there.
She came in like them fighting, cussing me out, calling me B. She ran up in there talking about who did it, who effing did this stuff. I'm gonna kick their butt. Her husband, her sister, her brothers, they all was threatening us.
You're not following me.
Well, you said they didn't hit you, on, and I was there.
I said the mother wasn't there when this incident happened. You were the responsible adult.
Yes,
it was your job to ensure that if one of these girls looked at you, and they looked at you, as you said, with attitude, that you just say, forget about it. Nothing. Well, you told me the story, man. I listened to your story.
It wasn't so much of them looking at me attitude, Your Honor. They was being disrespectful. They was standing there mugging me.
You're not getting it. You're the grown-up. If they're not acting appropriately, and I believe that they weren't.
It wasn't them even saying anything. The little young one said to her sister and her cousin, she said, they eyebrow. We found out at the end. The police, everybody found out at the end that the 11-year-old, the one who said, look at her eyebrows, Brittany.
Just a second. So let me ask you this question. Now you're getting down to it.
Yeah, because she's the last one.
Stop speaking! So it wasn't your older daughter, it was your younger daughter?
Yes. The younger daughter made a comment, Your Honor, about, but they didn't even hear the comment.
Oh, listen. They should have sent you to some sort of parenting class. You're the one responsible to take care of the children who are in your care, madam.
Well, I thought I was doing that.
Well, you weren't. Because when you said nothing happened, they weren't talking about her makeup. They weren't saying anything. That's what I'm speaking. So it wasn't them, it was Miss Smarty Pants. But they had a legitimate complaint because she was being mocked by somebody in your charge. So instead of not confronting it, instead of not removing actions that could possibly result in an assault, you decided to confront them. And I'm telling you, you didn't do...
Your Honor, do you know when we learned about this little girl said something? After these kids then fought and everything was over with, then she spoke up and said, Mama, I'm the one who said something about her eyebrow. Your Honor, everything was done. They already had the fight. And this one told it...
She's not getting it.
I guess I'm not then, Your Honor.
You're not getting it.
Because I'm a very good mother.
You're not getting it. When you started to tell me your story, you and your daughter and your nephew, you all conveniently left out the fact that these young ladies, you can sit down, Jennifer, that this young lady told me the truth when she said that somebody was making fun of her makeup and laughing. And just because it was this daughter instead of this daughter, that doesn't make it any less true.
It don't.
Now, that doesn't mean that you're not supposed to do the smart thing. If you're dealing with a situation where it's getting clearly out of control, you just pay for your stuff and move out of the store. You understand? Mm-hmm. They behaved inappropriately. The mother behaved inappropriately. Smarty Pants behaved inappropriately. They behaved inappropriately. So did you. You just should have left. But you were injured. Mm-hmm. She was responsible to take care of her children. All of her children, not just the older one, the younger one too. And you didn't do that. Judgment for the plaintiff in the amount of $1,000. That's all. Step out.
Parties are excused. You may step out.
Insurance agent Lisa Ribeiro is suing her ex-boyfriend, carpenter Mike Hammer, for selling her dining room set and her DVD and CD collections. Lisa says Mike was angry over their breakup.
All rise. This is case number 153 on the calendar in the matter of Ribeiro versus Hammer. Parties have been sworn in, Judge. You may be seated.
Mr. Ribeiro, you and Mr. Hammer used to have a relationship, and according to what I read, you moved in with him with your daughter.
Yes, Your Honor.
And that didn't last very long.
No.
You decided to leave him.
Yes.
You didn't tell him that you were leaving him.
No, I did not.
Left him a note, according
Yes,
to you.
I left him a note.
And left.
Mm-hmm.
When you came back to retrieve your property, which was a short time later, according to you, most of your valuable property was gone.
Yes.
And according to you, Mr. Hammer sold that property the weekend that you left at a yard sale.
Yes, Your Honor.
You are also suing him for harassment.
Yes.
And slander, because you say that his constant calls to your place of business caused you to lose your job, and he said things to coworkers that were unpleasant about you. Mr. Hammer says that you retrieved everything that was yours. He doesn't know anything whatsoever about this harassment. He was merely concerned about your whereabouts, so he called to find out where you were. And he said that when you came back with the police, you took all your property. When did you move in with him?
I moved in with them the beginning of January, and we'd started...
Of 2004?
Of 2004, yes.
How old is your daughter?
She's 11 years old.
How long did you know Mr. Hemmer before you moved in with him?
Approximately about 2.5 years. I met him at a friend's birthday party. He lived down in the valley, and I lived up in Camarillo at the time. And so driving back and forth, we were both paying rents, or at least I was. And he says, well, hey, why don't you go ahead and, you know, cut your bill down for rent. You could come stay with me, save up some money. And so he offered for me to come and move in with him. And up until that point, we'd gotten along just fine.
Okay. When did you move out?
I moved out April 9th. I left while he was gone, and I went up north to stay with my sister just to kind of get away for, I took a few days off of work. I didn't return until the evening of the 13th, and I went over there on the 14th.
Had you spoken to him between the 9th and the 14th?
No, I had not, but I had
What
spoken.
did you say in the note that you say you left for him?
It was basically short and sweet. I just let him know that it wasn't working out between us, and that I was you know, afraid to tell him in person because of the way that he'd been treating me while we were living together, and that I would no longer be with him. I didn't want to be with him, that I would be moving out and coming back and getting my belongings that next week.
But you didn't tell him where you were going?
No, I did not.
You returned on the 14th. Did you return alone or with anybody?
I brought a friend with me, and I had a moving van also. I went there, and he didn't answer the door. I'm not sure if he was home or not, but the key that I had, the locks were changed already, so I wasn't able to gain access into the house.
Were you ever able to get into the house or get into any place where you'd store the property at any time?
Yes, I was able. I went back with the police that
date?
weekend, the weekend of the 17th.
Okay. What property did you get when you went back?
I retrieved some of my daughter's toys, our clothing, a few of our personal belongings.
Why didn't you take everything?
I took everything that was left there. I had a whole CD collection of about 250 CDs, and he took all of my classic rock CDs were missing. I had a DVD collection, except for the children's movies. All the other DVDs were missing. He even had a girl over there when the police came.
Listen to me carefully. You had a moving van, according to you,
Yes.
with you. You didn't have a moving van for your CDs and your DVDs.
I had a lot of stuff at his house. I brought my dining room table over to his house because he had a...
Did you take that?
No, it was gone. When I came back with the police and the moving truck, my dining room table was missing. I also had a couch and dressers there. Those were there, but they were, my couch was ripped up. The dresser drawers were kind of smashed in and broken. My child's toy box, you know, I had a bunch of stuff there for a moving van.
What
and
did
when I
you
showed
take
up-
in the moving van?
In the moving van, I was only able to take toys and clothes and some of my CDs.
What
and-
about furniture?
And my couch and the dressers that were broken.
What had you wanted to take in the moving van?
I wanted to take my dining room table, also my daughter's CD Walkman, my daughter's boom box, her PlayStation, and all her games were missing. I had a home stereo systems, and that was also missing. Various kitchen and bathroom items, you know, of
All right, well,
course,
that's
knickknacks,
nonsense. I
that
don't
sort
want
of
to
thing.
be...
Yeah.
Don't bother me about that stuff. Mr. Hammer, what happened to all this stuff?
Oh, Your Honor, I had my own CD collection, my own DVD collection, which she integrated hers with. I don't know what she was saying was hers and wasn't hers. Everything that I had, that I possessed, was at the house.
You know what's yours and what's
Let
not.
Miss Ribeiro.
Sorry.
Exactly, I do know what's mine and what's hers. The problem with that being is she left, and I had no idea.
Dining room table and chairs.
It was out in the garage when I left. I took all of her stuff and put it out in the garage.
Absolutely not, Your Honor.
I don't want to hear you yet. Do you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
I spoke to you. You testified. Now I'm speaking to him. He has an opportunity to speak. Do I make myself clear?
Yes, ma'am.
Good. Dining room table and chairs. According to you, you put that out in the garage.
Along with the dressers, along with...
Shh. I asked you about one thing. I said dining room table and chairs.
Yes.
You put that out in the garage.
Yes.
PlayStation.
Everything that was hers, I boxed up and took and put in the garage, taking my own personal stuff out of the garage so it'd have room so it would be enclosed.
I have a witness, Your Honor, that saw him selling these things.
Did you?
I apologize.
That's ridiculous.
Boombox, a Walkman, her own little entertainment center, PlayStation, all of those things, including the dining room table and chairs, you packed up or just put in the garage, in storage, waiting for her. Is that what you're telling me?
Yes, Your Honor. And there was things missing when she left, so she took stuff.
And according to you, Miss Ribeiro, you have a witness who saw him do what?
I have a witness, a friend of his, her sister, was there on the day that he was having the yard sale and actually described items of mine that he was selling.
We'll call that witness. Where's the witness?
Witness got a name?
Michelle Newman. He even took my daughter's cold plunge on.
I didn't take nothing.
It's my kid.
Yeah, you should take
If you
care of
say
your
one
kid's
more word
stuff.
to each other, you're both leaving. Do I make myself clear?
Yes.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
Can you give me any reason why Miss Newman would make up this story about you?
I don't understand it.
I can only think of one reason. Can you think of what that is?
No.
Because what she says is true.
And later today,
So you didn't think?
Correct, Your Honor.
He didn't. For somebody who brings these pictures, I wouldn't speak.
real cases, real people. Judge Judy. Lisa Ribeiro says ex-boyfriend Mike Hemmer got rid of her personal property after they broke up. Lisa claims Mike sold the belongings at a garage sale.
Miss Newman, how do you know these people?
Okay, my brother's best friends with Mike Hemmer. I've known him for years, ever since I was a small child.
Okay. I'm going to direct your attention to the weekend that would have followed April 9th, 2004. Were you at Mr. Hemmer's house?
Yes.
What were you doing there?
I went there with my brother, and when we had walked up, there was...
What did you go there for?
Just visit.
Okay.
And when I had walked up, there was a bunch of stuff from the house on the front lawn, and they were obviously stuff of Lisa's. I've seen them a million times before in the house.
Do you remember what they were?
Yeah.
What?
There was a glass dining room table with leather chairs, numerous CDs, DVD players, VCR.
Did you have a conversation with Mr. Hemmer about these items?
Yeah, I did. I asked him where Lisa was. And
What did he say?
He said that she had taken off a couple days earlier, and he kind of joked, said that when she came back, that her stuff would be gone.
Did you spend any time there that day?
A short amount of time.
Did anybody come up while you were there to make any purchases of the stuff that was in the yard?
Actually, as we were walking up, there was a box of German beer mugs, about 12, 15 of them in a box, and someone was buying them as I walked up.
Mr. Hemmer, were those your beer mugs?
I did not sell any beer mugs. I don't know what
So
she's
you don't know
talking about.
you don't know anything.
I've seen the money.
You don't know anything about beer mugs. Is that what you're telling me?
No, I'm not telling you that. I'm saying I never
Do you
sold
have
any.
Miss Ribeiro, did you have any beer mugs?
Yes, I did, Your Honor.
Tell me about them.
They were beer mugs from Germany that have been in my family ever since I was a small kid, and they were all, you know, individually handcrafted and with different, you know, visions of Germany and cities inside Germany on it.
Okay. Miss Newman, I assume you've known Mr. Hemmer longer than you've known Miss Ribeiro. Is that right?
Yes.
Did your brother ever have a falling out with him?
No.
Mr. Hemmer, can you give me any reason to suggest why Miss Newman would make up this story about you?
No, I can't give you any insight on that.
I can't either.
I don't understand it.
The only thing that I can figure out, sir, I can only think of one reason why she would testify the way she has against you. Can you think of what that is?
No, I can't actually. There's no reason.
Because what she says is true.
Well, I never took
That's
money.
the only reason I could figure out that Miss Newman, who is not a friend of the plaintiffs, who's known you for years, who is not a friend of yours per se, but she is the sister of a man who's a friend of yours, I can think of no reason why she would make up a story about coming and seeing all this stuff on your front lawn when, Mr. Hemmer, you say in your answer that you were so concerned about the plaintiff that you called her office where she works frequently to find out where she was. Didn't call the police, did you?
No.
Listen to me, Mr. Hemmer. If you're living with someone and their child and they disappear without leaving you a note, which is what you said happened, that there was no note, no nothing, which is why you called a place of business. It seemed to me you wouldn't call a place of business once or twice or three times, but the first thing you would do is call the police and say, my girlfriend and her child are missing. Right, Mr. Hemmer?
Well,
that's what a normal person would do.
You would assume so.
Well, one would assume that that's what a normal, together person would do. Just like a normal, together person wouldn't take the stuff, put it on the front lawn and say, you want this stuff? It's yours. So I cannot, Mr. Hemmer, think of one reason why Miss Newman would come here and testify at what I believe is some risk to her own personal safety, perhaps, unless what she's testifying to is true. And since all of the things that The plaintiff indicates were missing, including family heirlooms, cannot be replaced. I'm awarding her a judgment consistent with her request in the amount of $5,000. Judgment for the plaintiff. Step out.
These are excused. You may step out.
But he was just very controlling. I wasn't allowed to go anywhere without clearing it through him.
Sometimes women need to be controlled when they act a certain way.
My daughter, he would pick on her.
If I asked her daughter to pick up her toys or to do something, that was being completely demonstrative.
He'd go flinging the cat off of the table just to get a reaction out of my daughter and out of me.
If I shooed the cat away when I was eating dinner, that was being cruel to it.
I just knew that it wasn't going to get any better and it was time to go.
And now the next case. Nurse Veronica Treitner is suing her daughter, 19-year-old waitress Jessica Unterberger, for her share of an insurance settlement. Veronica says Jessica cashed the check and took off with the money.
Yeah, this is case number 260 on the calendar in the matter of Treitner versus Unterberger.
Thank you.
You're welcome, Judge. Parties have been sworn in. You may be seated. Have a seat, sir.
Ms. Treitner, the defendant is your daughter.
Yes, ma'am.
And you are suing her because, according to what I read, your daughter was riding in a car as a passenger. Who was driving?
I was driving.
And there was an accident.
Yes.
And your daughter was injured.
Yes.
She was under 18 at the time.
Yes.
And you decided, rather than going to trial, because I assume the other person was responsible?
Yes.
You settled her claim.
That's correct.
For a little over $4,000.
Yes.
She wasn't living with you at the time because your daughter has been in foster care for a good part of her adolescence.
That's correct.
And you sent her the check because there was a two-party check, and you instructed her to sign the back of the check, send it back to you, and you would give her some of the money.
That's correct.
And she kept the check and cashed it.
Yes.
And spent the money.
Yes.
So you want half the money back for her medical bills.
That's correct.
Okay. How old are you?
I'm 19.
When did you go into foster care?
I went into foster care the 24th of May in 2002 is the official date.
Who did you live with before that time?
My mother.
Had you been in foster care at any time from the age of 12 to 16?
I went to foster care when I was 14 and I turned 15 in foster care.
You have siblings?
Yes.
How old are they?
My brother's 14.
Does he live with your mother?
Yes.
Has he always lived with your mother?
Yes.
He was not in foster care?
No.
So I gather from what you tell me, you and your mother had a rocky relationship, which is why she put you in foster care.
Correct.
And you have remarried?
Yes.
Now, you took her out of foster care because you were going on a vacation or a trip?
That's not exactly true. We asked them if she could go with us. It's not so much that we took her out, but it was more like a trial to see if she could come back home and live with us.
And that's when the accident occurred?
Yes.
Tell me about the accident. When was it?
It was June 14th, 2002. We were getting onto the Pennsylvania Turnpike, and there was an 18-wheeler in front of us stopped. I stopped. The person behind me stopped. The person behind him did not. When he hit that car hit us. It bounced back and hit us again. Jessica was on the driver's side back. I was driving. The car, when it hit that side twice. We at first declined care because she said she was fine. By the time we got to New Jersey, she was complaining of symptoms of a whiplash. We took her into the hospital, and she did have whiplash.
Did the insurance company pay for the damage to your car?
Yes.
Whose insurance?
The person that hit us.
Did you sue on your behalf?
No.
Who else was in the car?
My husband was in the car, and she was in the car, and my son was in the car.
Anybody else injured besides your daughter?
Not in our car. I don't know about the other people.
Not in your car?
Right.
So what medical bills did you have for your daughter?
We had medical bills from the hospital in New Jersey where she was seen, and a hospital bill from a lab. I think it's in my paperwork.
Well, I'd like to see it.
This is the breakdown of where the money was supposed to go. It was for the radiologist. Everything else,
Did you pay these bills?
Yes.
Let me see.
I don't have the receipts. They were just paid for on I think on my husband's credit card like 2 years ago, and we don't have the bill.
Your Honor, I was in foster care, therefore Medicaid paid for the bills. I was unable to get a hold of Medicaid. I was unable to get a hold of the hospital, but I do have copies of my physical therapy that I went through. Payments, and also the highlighted section is Medicaid adjustment and Medicaid paid.
Can I see it?
We did not ask them to pay anything that Medicaid paid. Her physical therapy, anything that happened in the state of Ohio.
I just need proof that you paid these bills.
I don't have it.
Well, that's unfortunate, because if she was in foster care, your daughter is absolutely right. If she was in foster care, then the state pays for any medical treatment that she had.
That's true. However, regardless of whether her bills were paid or not, it says on there that she's supposed to get $2,000 only. The other $2,000 was supposed to be for her bills. I thought if they were already paid, I would not have to bring any more proof. I mean, it's to pay her bills.
Let me ask you this question. Which one is it? Is it that you paid the bills, or you didn't pay the bills, but you felt as if $2,000 was supposed to be towards the bills, so you should be entitled to that? Which one was it?
The bills were paid.
By whom?
I paid them, and my husband paid them. They're on his...
All you have to do is show me.
I can't.
Listen to me, Miss Trentner. Even if you didn't pay and Medicaid paid, only $2,000 of that $4,000 check was to go to your daughter, and you as her parent would be entitled to the other half.
No. The other money was to pay the bills. She was only entitled to...
Listen, I do not believe, madam, that... Stop playing with the paper. I do not believe that you paid the bills. I'm going to tell you why I don't believe that you paid the bills. First of all, you don't have any evidence that you paid the bills, and you don't look like an unintelligent woman. And if you're coming to court and saying, and your complaint says, half the money was to pay for the bills, that is your whole case. Your whole case is the bills.
No, ma'am, that was not why I wanted to see the judge. Why I wanted to come was because when I sent Jessica the check, she forged my name and took any money, period. It's the fact that she forged my name, or she had somebody forge the name on my check.
Then what you're saying is, it's not because you spent your own money out of your pocket to pay for her medical bills that you should be reimbursed for. You came to court and you wanted to see the judge because your daughter had forged your name and taken all the money.
Ma'am, that is correct. However,
all right.
Can I say one more thing?
Yeah.
I don't care at this point about the $2,000 that is in dispute, whether you say I owe it or whatever. And you can keep the $2,000. I don't care. The dispute is she forged my name on the check.
And?
I would like her to have to pay for something that she's done wrong at least once in her life.
Veronica Treitner says her daughter, Jessica Unterberger, forged her name on an insurance check and cashed it.
Ms. Treitner, your daughter was under the age of 18 at the time you sent her this check, is that right?
That is correct.
And so she was still technically your responsibility?
No, ma'am.
Oh, she was no. She was your responsibility. You chose to abdicate that responsibility by putting her in foster care.
Can I tell you why she was put in foster care?
Sure.
When she was about 12 or 13, she started to hit people, and she would not stop. We had her arrested at least twice for domestic violence before she was put out of my house. I told
Ms.
her...
Treitner, is it normal for a child who's 12 years old to act out in that way?
Yes, but...
You think it's normal for a child of 12 years old to act out in that way?
No, I don't.
Okay. So what did you as a parent do while she was living with you in order to try to get to the root of the problem as to why she was acting out in that way when she was 12?
We sent her to counseling. I went to counseling with her. We tried to take my mom to counseling. We tried to get my son to go.
What do you mean you tried to take your mom to counseling?
My mom lived with us, and she would not go to counseling.
Well, was there a problem with your mother?
There's many problems with my mother, Judge.
Well, what was the problem with your mother and your daughter? What was the problem with your grandmother and you?
The main thing was before we had moved in with my grandmother, because for the longest time it was just me, my brother, and my mom. And then we decided, because my mother was working all the times, and me and my brother were from babysitter to babysitter, that it was just easier for us to live with my grandmother so she could watch us. Before we moved in with my grandmother, everything was fine. We were kids. We were allowed to go hang out, play with our friends, whatever. We moved in with my grandmother, and all that stopped. My brother was still allowed to do whatever he wanted, and I was constantly on lockdown. I wasn't allowed to talk on the phone, wasn't allowed to go hang out.
What do you mean you were on lockdown?
I was in the house 24/7. I wasn't allowed to go hang out with my friends. I wasn't allowed to go do anything school-related.
You mean your grandmother was strict with you?
Yes.
Okay. And you tried to get your mother to go to counseling?
Correct.
And your mother refused to go to counseling?
Exactly.
I assume you wanted your mother to go to counseling because you felt as if some of her behavior was not appropriate?
I felt between my mother, me, and Jessica that there was an issue that we needed to get to the bottom of. Yes.
Okay, and your mother refused to go?
Yes.
Your daughter went?
Yes.
You went?
Yes.
She's 12.
Actually, she was a little bit older.
She's 13. She's 14. I understand that you were a single mother and you had 2 children, but you put your daughter in a situation that you acknowledge was not the best situation for her with your mother, with somebody who refused to address any problems that there were, and you responded to that when your daughter started to act out, which I'm sure she acknowledges was inappropriate, inappropriate behavior, but she started to act out. Your response was, instead of moving out of your mother's house, you put her in foster care.
That's not exactly true. My mom lived with us because she could not work. She had nowhere else to go. My brother wouldn't take her. Nobody would take her.
Just a second. Is what you're telling me now that you had to make a choice between your mother and your daughter?
No.
That your mother had no place else to go and you couldn't put your mother in foster care, so you put your daughter in foster care?
No.
Come on.
No, that's not what I'm saying.
Well, I mean, I'm trying to get what's happening here.
Can I kind of explain it? Jessica would go from hitting, then she went to punching. She tried to choke me. She went after her grandmother with a butcher knife. The reason that I finally put her out is because I told her, if you ever hit your brother, you cannot stay with me anymore. I put up with a lot of stuff. Even when she went to counseling, we found an excellent counselor for her, was working wonders for her. Then she decided that she didn't like him, and then she wouldn't talk to anybody. So when she hit her brother in the face, that's when I told her that she was no longer welcome in my home, because she was my daughter, and I didn't know what else to do.
Okay, so that's, just a second, so that's what you did. And then you had a problem with this check. Now, you don't have to answer me as to whether or not you forged your mother's name. You forged your mother's name, you cashed the check. That's what you did, right?
Correct.
Okay, what'd you do with the money?
I was living in my own apartment, and I needed furniture for my apartment.
How old were you when you were living in your
I was 17.
Okay.
Foster care has a program called independent living, and that's what they did. They put me in independent living. I needed pots and pans, dishes.
Okay, so you were living in an apartment?
Correct.
Did you know that she was living by herself?
Yes, I did.
Good. What did you do to help her set up in her apartment?
When she set up in her own apartment, we were already in New Jersey.
I didn't ask you where you were. I said, what did you do to help her set up in her own apartment?
When she called me, I asked her if she needed anything. She told me no, she was fine.
So the answer that you're telling me is you did nothing for her to set her up in her own apartment at age 17.
I asked her if she needed, right, that's correct.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
What she's telling you she does for a living is not what she does for a living.
Well, tell me what she does for a living.
She has tried to sue the state of New York twice.
Suing the city of New York is not a living. She lied about what she did for a living.
Yes, she did.
You tell me what she does for a living.
Real cases, real people. Judge Judy. Veronica Treitner says her daughter, Jessica Unterberger, stole her share of an insurance settlement.
Okay. So she says she needed furniture and pots and pans, and she needed some money. Were you working?
Yes.
What kind of work were you doing?
I was working at a pizza parlor.
Are you still working there?
No, that was in Ohio. I currently live in New York now.
And what do you do in New York?
During the summer season, I'm a soccer referee, and right now I'm working as a waitress.
Where?
At a restaurant on the east side.
You live alone?
Yes.
That's a hesitant yes.
Because I'm living in a room in a house. There's other people in the house, but it's my room.
So you rent a room?
Yes.
What's your rent?
$120 a week.
And how long have you lived there?
I've lived in this particular place for about 2 weeks now.
Prior to that, where were you living?
I was living in Ridgewood in another one room, and I was paying $90 a week there, and I lived there for 3 months. And before that, I was living with my fiance's parents.
And that didn't work out?
No.
So from the time you were 17 until now, you've taken care of yourself?
Correct.
You got my drift.
I don't understand why you want to believe her, because what she's telling you is not true.
Just a second. All I'm asking you is, you're her mother.
That's correct.
From the time she was 17 until today, other than this $2,000, how much money have you given your daughter?
None. Because I did not know where she was.
Now you know where she was. Whether you know where she was or you don't know where she was, You've given her nothing, and she's managed to support herself.
If that's what you want to call it.
Well, she's managed to support herself.
But what she's telling you she does for a living is not what she does for a living.
Well, tell me what she does for a living.
She has tried to sue the state of New York twice.
Yeah.
She has lied to you about where she, not where she lives, but who she lives with. And
listen to me. I asked you a simple question. You said to me she lied about what she does for a living. And I'm asking you if she lied about what she did for a living.
Yes, she did.
You tell me what she does for a living. Suing the city of New York is not a living.
I understand that.
All right.
The last, what she told you and what she told me was that she works in a restaurant and she gets paid under the table.
Who cares?
But that is not true.
Well, so tell me what she does.
I'm not sure. But I know she doesn't do that.
Let's try. Now, let me tell you something. I was concerned.
You know what?
I'm speaking. I was concerned about your lawsuit from the beginning because it seems to me that you were.
Again,
I'm speaking. You were in a car. You were the driver of the car. Your minor daughter was injured in an accident that, according to you, and I have no reason to doubt you, was not your fault. I have children, and if one of my children was injured in an accident, and the accident resulted in that child getting a claim, why don't you try paying attention instead of crying because you're not going to get any money?
I don't care about the money.
Then just listen. Then just listen. It would seem to me what I would do is I would say, gee, here's $4,000. I'm going to put this in an account for my child, for their future, either for college or to set them up in an apartment or to help them maybe with a car. But certainly, I didn't pay out any money because I had insurance that covered the medical bills.
That's not true.
And you didn't pay any money because I don't believe that either you or your husband paid any money, because if you did, you would have the canceled check. You would have your credit card statement showing that you paid the amount 2 years ago, because if you knew you were coming to court and that's the evidence that you required, that's the evidence that you would have. Now, you say you're angry because she forged your name and she should be taught a lesson. Well, it was the wrong thing for her to do, to forge your name and to take the money to use to set up an apartment. But at the time she was 17 years old, she was placed in independent living, had your own apartment. You were working marginally to pay for whatever was in the apartment, and she needed the money. And since you weren't forthcoming with the money and you knew how to reach her because you knew where to send the check, you sent her the check and said, darling, sign the back of this check. When I get the money, I'll give you half.
That's not what happened.
That's what you told me in your complaint.
That's
you
not...
said, you want me to read you what you wrote? You said, I sent her the check unsigned. I sent it by certified mail.
That's correct.
Okay, so you knew where to send it.
Right after that.
Yeah, just a second. So you knew where to send it. And if you knew where to send it, was she in foster care or was she in her own apartment?
She was in her own apartment at that time.
Right. And how much had you given her at that time to help her set up an apartment? A little slush funds.
Considering that I had just found out that she was on her own, I couldn't have sent her anything, could I have? I did not know.
Yes, just a second.
I did not know.
Yes, my dear, you could have. You could have said, here's $4,000 that I just got. But I'm speaking. You're on your own. I'm signing this check over to you, my sweetheart. I know you've had a difficult teenage time. We haven't always gotten along, but you're on your own now. Here's $4,000 that none of us anticipated because you decided to settle the case for her. Here's $4,000. I want you to take it. Whatever you don't need, listen, whatever you don't need to set up your apartment, put in a bank account and use it with my love. Because part of it should come to me, I'm giving it to you. That's what you should have done. You didn't do it then, you're doing it now. Your case is dismissed, that's all.
I can't believe this. You win again, you stupid...
Judge Judy continues in a moment. 16-year-old student Valerie Durant and her stepmother Teresa Durant are suing Valerie's grandmother, school secretary Jan Lockhart, for money meant for her class ring.
This is case number 226 on the calendar in the matter of Durant versus Lockhart. Parties have been sworn in, Judge. You may be seated. Have a seat, please.
Valerie, how old are you, dear?
16.
And the lady standing next to you is your stepmother?
Yes.
And Miss Lockhart is your grandmother?
Yeah.
And you are her?
Mother.
All right, let's see where the story starts. I gather that you were living with your mother at some point. Then you and your mother had some sort of a falling out and you went to live with your grandmother.
No, Your Honor. I was living with my dad and my stepmother. In 2003 is when I moved in with my grandmother.
Is that because you had a falling out with either your father or your stepmother?
It was because I was having trouble in school. And
whatever. You were having difficulty.
Yeah.
So you went to live with your grandma. And while you were living with your grandmother, according to your complaint, your mother was sending some money to put away for a class ring.
Yes.
And then when you left your grandma's house in May of 2004, your grandma kept the money.
Yes.
So you're suing her for the money that your mother had sent for you for your class ring.
Yes. Some of that money was also from my dad. It was my birthday money.
Your grandma says that she did get the money. Your mother told her to keep the money to cover some other expenses that she had. So I have a few questions. How long has Valerie lived with you but for the time she was with her grandmother?
2 years, approximately.
And how long have you been married to her father?
Approximately 2 years, 2 or 3 years.
Step up. Your last name is?
Mine is Keel.
Miss Keel, did you send your daughter money?
Yes, I did.
And when you sent her the money, did you send it directly to her?
No, I did not.
Who did you send it to?
I sent it to my mother to be held for a ring.
You sent your mother the letter, and in the letter there was cash or a check?
There was cash.
And the cash was given directly to your mother?
Yes, always.
Is that right?
Yes.
So the money never came to you?
No, but it was meant for my class ring. They both knew that.
Valerie, this is the situation. If your mother sent the money to you, and you in turn said to your grandmother, I want you to hold this for me, then she's just acting like a piggy bank. Do you understand?
The $200 that my dad and my stepmom Teresa had given to me, I went up to Iowa and they had given me $200, and that was given straight to me. And then I gave it to her.
Fine. So then let's not talk about the money that your mother sent to your grandmother. Let's talk about the money that your father and your stepmother gave to you. How much money did Valerie personally hand you and say, Grandma, will you hold this for me for my class ring?
She gave me money, and I don't know exactly how much, to hold for me so we could start her a savings account.
So you don't remember how much that was?
I do know one amount. When her dad brought her back to my house, she spent the week of her birthday in Iowa, and so whatever they gave her up there, I'm not sure. The only money that I know that was given her, because I was standing there at the time, is when her dad brought her home. The stepmother stayed in the vehicle. He came in with Valerie, and in Valerie's bedroom, he said, Valerie, here is $100. Do not tell Teresa. And we were going to start a savings account with all the money that she had received for her birthday.
And how much was that?
I know the $100 there. Her grandmother from Iowa had given her like I think $20, which I guess Valerie thinks that I took the money out of the mailbox, but she was in Iowa the whole week.
How much money did your father give you?
My father and my stepmom gave me $200, and that $200 was given to me in Iowa.
Okay. And how much did you give your grandmother to hold for you?
I gave her $200. She knew that it was for class ring.
It really doesn't make any difference what it's for. You say class ring, she says savings account. It doesn't make any difference. Did you put that money away for her?
No, she took it back.
When did
she spent it?
When did she take it back?
It was probably 2 weeks, and it was not all at once. She kept saying things that she wanted. Then her boyfriend's birthday came up. So she, I gave her money a little bit at a time out of this money that I was holding just in my purse for her to start a savings account. I wanted her to start a savings account.
Well, what did she say to you, for instance, when it was her boyfriend's birthday?
She wanted to get him a gift.
So what did she say to you?
She said, Grandma, I need money out of the envelope.
So she knew that the envelope in your purse was the money that she had given you?
For savings account.
Okay.
Which we never started.
Did you say to your grandma, when you needed a present for your boyfriend, I need money from the envelope?
Yes, Your Honor. We had 2 envelopes. One was marked class ring, and one was marked savings account. She had told me that we wasn't going to start a savings account. So I did take money out of the savings account. There was 2 envelopes. I did take the money out of the savings account one.
We're not talking about class ring, my dear. Listen to me very carefully. I want you to clearly understand. The money that your mother sent directly to your grandmother is not yours. Got it?
Yeah.
The money that your father and stepmother gave you as a gift for your birthday was yours. Your grandmother says that you wanted things, money for presents for your boyfriend for his birthday, money for things that you saw that you wanted, and over the course of time, you went into, not you personally, but you said, Grandma, I want the money from that envelope. And you acknowledge that that's true. Now, how much did you take out for things that you wanted?
You don't understand. There was 2 envelopes. One was for the class ring, one was for the savings account. There was $400 in the class ring one. $200 of that my dad had given me and my stepmom, Teresa. There was another envelope because I just had my birthday, and I had got money from other family members and other friends.
How much?
I'm not exactly sure how much was in that one. I couldn't even give a guess for that money. But yes, I did take that money back.
I assume you had difficulty with your father?
Yes.
You're still having difficulty with your father?
No.
Do you live with your father?
Yes.
Is that right?
Yes.
Where is he?
He works constantly. He works from the time daybreaks come till the time nighttime comes. That's why I have guardianship of Valerie, and I'm raising her. Nobody has time for her.
You mean you individually without her father, and you share a home with her father?
He works all the time.
I don't care if he works all the time. That's what fathers
Yes,
sometimes
he
do.
works.
They work all the time. So I don't understand why you would have guardianship of her.
Because I'm the one that takes care of her, takes her back and forth to school, takes her to counseling. She sees a psychologist.
She's the only one out of my parents that would take care of me.
Something that is very peculiar to me.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
Why did you leave your grandmother's house?
She had called the police on me. I can't believe that a grandma would do that.
You think that she's trying to be vicious and mean to you?
Yes.
And later today,
After she overpowered you and got out of the car and managed to crawl up the hood of the car and she's on the windshield, weren't you worried that something would happen to Jackie?
I was watching her.
You were watching her crawl up on the hood of the car.
real cases, real people. Judge Judy. 16-year-old Valerie Durant says her grandmother, Jan Lockhart, won't return money she gave her to hold.
Now, what did you... Go ahead.
Can I just please say something? I had Valerie for 1.5 years. I went up there Christmas to get her. She had been kicked out of the home by her father and her stepmother.
I assumed.
She walked up a highway carrying bags when she was 14 years old.
I assumed.
I have a statement from the counselor that I took her to that plainly states the very things that Valerie said herself about her relationship with her father and them kicking her out. I have that.
I assumed that she
and I
came
went
to
up
live
there
with you
with
for that reason.
The best of intentions. She wasn't going to school. She was allowed to smoke on the conditions she smoked in the den by the fireplace. She was given wine coolers. Now, this is what I'm told by Valerie.
Okay. Why did she leave your house?
She left my home because it started with her boyfriend. I went to her room, and the reason I have this class ring receipt is because it was in her room, in her hope chest, which I have a letter from Valerie stating that, also stating that she doesn't know how much money there was. I mean, it's just, this is where I paid the $50 down on the class ring. I did have $125 from her mother for the class ring, but the money that Valerie got for her birthday was in Iowa, except the $100 she received from her dad in her bedroom when I was standing right there.
And it's your statement that she spent it.
And it is gone.
Okay. Why did you leave your grandmother's house?
Because me and my boyfriend, we had some trouble. And
What do you mean you and your boyfriend, you had some trouble?
We had sex.
And?
And then she found out about it.
And?
And after that, she wouldn't let me call my dad to ask for him to come and get me.
How old's the boyfriend?
He's 16. She told many people that she was keeping the class ring money to pay for an attorney because she pushed him in church.
She pushed him in church?
Yes.
All right.
They never went to court over that, though. But she told me that she was going to keep the money for that. And also, one of the reasons why I left her house was because we was having way too many problems. She wouldn't let me call my dad. So I told her that I was going to the neighbor's house. And then when I went to the neighbor's house, she had called the police on me. And the police came, and she told the police that I had ran away and that I kicked in their door. I was really upset that she would do something like that.
Because she's a bad person. Is that what you're telling me?
I'm just saying I can't
I'm asking you a question.
I can't believe that a grandma would do that, you know.
You think she was trying to be vicious and mean to you?
Yes, I do, because I did not run away. I told her where I was going.
Just a second. I'm just asking you. You think that she's trying to be vicious and mean to you?
Yes.
Where's the boyfriend?
He's in Arkansas. I don't go out with him anymore.
Why not?
Because I moved to Iowa.
Does he call you all the time?
Not anymore. We used to. He used to call every night at 9.
When did he stop?
After we broke up.
Why did you break up?
Because I was going to school and going to work, and I didn't have time to talk to him.
Oh, I don't believe that, my dear. That's a fib. Going to school and going to work doesn't mean that you can't talk to him at 9 o'clock or 10 o'clock, so that, I don't buy that.
She's not allowed to talk on the phone after certain hours.
Mr. Durant, you are nothing but trouble.
Well, that may be.
You are nothing but trouble. What I'm telling you is if you find yourself in the unenviable position of having a 16-year-old that you're in charge of, because according to you, father works all the time and the mother is not capable, I'm going to tell you that you should not, under any circumstances, encourage her or importune her or support her in cutting off ties with her biological family. That is a very stupid thing.
I do not do that.
Very stupid thing. Well, you're being
own.
here today. Your being here today suggests to me that you do, because but for your intervention, she could have not proceeded with this case today, since you are her guardian for some bizarre reason. So if it were me, I would have said to her, listen, you're not talking about a lot. I don't know how much money your husband sent to Grandma for taking care of her for the year and a half she was there. How many thousands of dollars a month did he send?
$150.
A month?
A month.
A month. You can't feed a large goldfish for $150 a month. So her grandmother supported her, took care of her for a year and a half. Far more than
And
a couple
we're grateful that
$100
she
for a
did it.
class ring. For a class ring, which I don't see why she needs, because she left her grandmother before school was out. Your case is dismissed. Be smart. That's all.
Parties are excused. You may step out.
It wasn't the $350.
It wasn't about the money.
She has got to learn lessons in her life.
I was just wanting her to feel what she did to me, you know.
That you suffer the consequences for your actions.
Of her lying and stealing from her own granddaughter.
With the parental guidance that she has at this time,
I hope that her conscience gets to her.
I don't know what's going to happen.
I think it's very sad.
I just think it's pretty pathetic that me being an outsider, I have to take care of her.
But regardless, I love her. She'll always be my daughter.
Can't get her own mother to take care of her.
And I always want what's best for her.
It really bothers me. It hurts my heart.
Oh, I'm happy the way that I'm living now.
She knows my phone number.
So, things are just normal for me.
And now the next case.
All parties in the matter of Avila versus Young. Step forward, please.
22-year-old homemaker Crystal Avila is suing her ex-boyfriend, 19-year-old construction worker Justin Young, for the cost of a broken windshield. Justin claims the window was broken by Crystal's 4-year-old daughter.
Have a seat.
Miss Avila, this is your daughter.
Yes, ma'am.
She's 4.
Yes, ma'am.
And Mr. Young used to be your boyfriend.
Yes, ma'am.
How old are you, Mr. Young?
19.
19.
Yes, ma'am.
How old are you?
22.
He's not your boyfriend anymore?
No, ma'am.
According to your complaint, you went into the grocery store and left Mr. Young in the car with your daughter,
Yes,
just the
ma'am.
2 of them. And while you were in the grocery store, the windshield of your car got broken.
Yes, ma'am.
And it was done by people inside the car.
Yes, that's what I heard
Just
at
a second.
first.
Just a second.
Okay.
By people inside the car, which was either Mr. Young or your daughter.
Yes, ma'am.
You want Mr. Young to pay for the windshield.
Yes, ma'am.
And Mr. Young says he's not going to pay for the windshield because your daughter broke the windshield.
Or she helped.
Or she helped. So, Mr. Young, I have a few questions for you. Were you the passenger in this car?
Yes, ma'am.
And Miss Avila stopped at the grocery store to run in for a minute?
Yes, ma'am.
And she asked you to watch, what's this little girl's name?
Jackie.
She asked you to watch Jackie while she ran in to get what in the grocery store?
Just a couple.
What was she going to get?
Check.
Cash a check. I was getting
Oh,
my
cash a
money.
check.
Yeah.
Smart girl. Now, you want to tell me how the windshield got broken while she wasn't in the car and you were babysitting?
Jackie got out of the car and got on the hood, It was,
She got out of the car.
Yes, ma'am.
Were you in the car?
Yes, ma'am.
She overpowered you?
No, ma'am.
I just want to try to understand that. She got out of the car. She overpowered you and got out of the car. And then what happened?
I let her get out of the car.
What?
I let her get out of the car.
Yes.
Yes, ma'am, and get on the hood.
And she managed to get up on the hood by herself, or did you put her on the hood?
She got there by herself.
How did she do that? She's a little teeny girl.
She crawled up there.
She went on the front bumper first?
Yes, ma'am.
She got herself on the front bumper first, and then she crawled up on the hood of the car.
Yes, ma'am.
And where were you when she was doing this?
I was inside the car.
What were you doing inside the car?
Just waiting.
After she overpowered you and got out of the car and managed to get up on the bumper, crawl up the hood of the car, and she's on the windshield, and you were inside the car waiting.
Yes, ma'am.
Mr. Young, weren't you worried that something would happen to Jackie?
I was watching her. No, ma'am.
You were watching her crawl up on the hood of the car.
Yes, ma'am.
What do you do for a living?
I'm in construction.
What do you do in construction?
Asphalt.
You don't have children, do you?
No, ma'am.
How much did the windshield cost to have fixed?
The first estimate I got was $316.
You still didn't tell me, Mr. Young, how the windshield got broken.
She was kicking it?
When she started kicking it, did you tell her to stop?
Yes, ma'am.
You were inside the car?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you yell outside the window?
No, ma'am. I hit the window back, trying to get her attention, tell her to stop.
So you hit the window to tell her to stop?
Yes, ma'am.
Is that how the window broke?
Yes, ma'am.
Her kicking it and you punching it to tell her to stop?
Yes, ma'am. I wasn't punching it, I was tapping it.
Tapping it?
Yes, ma'am.
You still don't think this is your fault?
No, ma'am.
Hello? The mayor, hello? You don't let a 4-year-old outside of a car unattended, because I really don't believe that she overpowered you and got out of the car.
Yes.
And then if you see her jumping up on the bumper, according to you, and then crawling on the hood of the car to the windshield, a normal, semi-intelligent person would have hopped out of the car and because they would have been afraid for the child's safety, Mr. Young.
Yes.
So now you're going to tell me, whose fault was this?
It's my fault for that now.
Yes! Yes, just stop there. Judgment for the plaintiff in the amount of $316. That's all.
Thank you.
Parties are excused. You may step out.
Administrative assistant Michelle Simpson is suing her daughter's ex-boyfriend, 22-year-old house painter Kyle Scaife, for his share of a trip to Jamaica. Kyle says he was a guest on the vacation.
This is case number 261 on the calendar in the matter of Simpson versus Scaife. Parties have been sworn in. You may be seated. Folks, have a seat.
Ms. Simpson, you were taking a family vacation to Jamaica.
That's correct.
And at the time of this vacation, this lovely young man was your daughter's boyfriend.
That's correct.
It is your claim that you agreed to advance him the money to go on this vacation with the agreement that he would, when the vacation was over, pay you back.
That's correct.
You did take him on the vacation, paid for him. He and your daughter have now parted company, and he has never paid you back.
That's correct.
And Mr. Scaife says that he had a wonderful time on vacation.
Right.
But he was your guest, right?
Right.
Who was this?
This is my roommate at the time. We were invited. Her daughter lived with us. He was a witness.
Did you go on the vacation too?
No, ma'am.
Just he went.
Yes, ma'am.
You didn't want to go to Jamaica?
I wanted to, but she wouldn't pay for me.
Oh, step up. Tell me your name.
Justin Runyon,
How old are you, Justin?
23.
And you were living with Kyle and...
Natalie.
Natalie.
She lived with us, actually.
So tell me, Justin, when was this trip?
I think it was like May of last year.
And Natalie told you about the trip?
Yes, ma'am. She came over to our house and was all excited and said that...
Look at me. No, look at me.
She told Kyle that he could go with them for free.
She did?
Yes, ma'am.
She said, oh, you can come with us and you can come for free.
Yes, ma'am.
And didn't you say, can't I go for free too?
I joked around about it, but...
Well, tell me how you joked around about it.
Well, Natalie...
Come on, tell me what you said. You remember exactly that she said, please, I want you to come to Jamaica. You can go for free. So if you remember that so clearly, I want you to tell me what it is that she said to you and what you said to her. Think carefully.
Natalie told Kyle that he could go for free, and Kyle's like, well, are you sure about that? And she's like, even if we break up, you don't ever have to pay my mom back.
Oh. It's like I'm watching Dumb and Dumber. Huh? Right? Don't you love it?
I'm just trying to figure out which one is Jim Carrey.
Yeah, so you're right. Me too. All right, Justin. Thank you very much. You've been most enlightening. You may sit down now.
It's like shooting fish in a barrel. It's incredible.
Isn't it wonderful? It's just wonderful. I don't even need a good night's sleep. Okay. Now, Kyle.
Yes, ma'am.
Last year, what were you doing to support yourself?
I was a bartender.
Were you working full-time?
Yes, ma'am.
So, get good tips? Nice-looking guy like you?
Sometimes tips were great. Sometimes we weren't so busy.
Well, you managed to support yourself, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Great. Are you still working as a bartender?
No, ma'am.
What are you doing now?
I paint houses.
Got a girlfriend?
No, ma'am.
What happened with Natalie?
It just didn't work out.
She's a nice girl, right?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Come on, Natalie.
Thank you. Been wanting to play too.
You want to play too? No, I usually have all the fun. Natalie.
Yes, ma'am.
Did you ever tell Kyle in Justin's presence? Let's see if I can repeat that exactly. I want you to listen to me carefully, Justin, to make sure that I'm going to repeat it pretty much as you told me. That you wanted to take Kyle on a trip to Jamaica for free. He doesn't have to pay for anything. And even if you break up, he doesn't have to pay your mother back. That's what you told me, right?
Yes, ma'am.
No, ma'am, I did not.
Tell me about the trip to Jamaica, Natalie.
We had a great time.
Good.
Originally, my mother and myself and her best friend were scheduled to go on a trip. Kyle and I got a little serious, and he hinted around a lot. He would have liked to go. I didn't really mind that Kyle went. I mean, I was actually looking forward to him being there. I knew he did not have that kind of money, and neither did I, honestly. So when I ran it past Mom, I said, Mom, Kyle's kind of after me. He really kind of wants to go. You know, is there something we can do, whatever? And Mom said, can he borrow the money from his parents? Kyle said, no, that's not an option. Mom said, well, I can give him a loan. And at that time, we were expecting Kyle to get a settlement from an car accident that he had been in. And everything we did revolved around that settlement. Utility bills, cell phones, anything. He kept going back to that.
So he kept hoping to get this settlement check.
Yes, ma'am, he did. And in addition, when you asked him what happened with Natalie, you should ask him about his financial priorities and where his responsibilities are.
Well, why don't you tell me?
They're nowhere. They're video games, predominantly. Kyle was in between jobs most of the time. After his car accident, I actually paid his bills in he and Justin's home.
What kind of car accident were you in, Kyle?
I was rear-ended at a stoplight.
Were you the driver of the car?
Yes.
So you sued the car that hit you?
Just for medical bills and everything like that.
Kyle, did you sue through an attorney?
Yes, ma'am.
An attorney doesn't sue just for medical bills, Kyle. Attorney sues for pain and suffering, for your injuries, and to reimburse the company that paid your medical bills, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you ever get a settlement?
It's in litigation.
Look at me!
It's in litigation right now.
So you haven't gotten the settlement yet?
No, ma'am.
So what you were doing is really you were counting your chickens before they were hatched?
No, ma'am.
Ah, okay. So what kind of an arrangement, Natalie, did you make with Kyle for the trip?
Originally, I said, my mother will pay for you to go on the trip. However, we need to pay her $50 to $100 a month until you receive that settlement, assuming that it was going to be within the duration of the relationship, which I quickly realized that that wasn't going to be the case.
All right, Kyle.
Yes, ma'am.
How much did you give Miss Simpson towards the trip?
Nothing. As far as I knew, it was a gift.
Listen to me. Just answer my question. How much did you give her?
I haven't given anything.
Well, see, that is confusing to me.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
I have one of him climbing a palm tree.
Oh, let me
jumped
see.
on the banana boat.
Oh, I want to see. The insurance company that's handling his lawsuit with his lawyers that's been pending for ages is certainly going to want to see these pictures.
And later today,
she said you advertised for a
new, never been worn chicken suit.
New, never been worn chicken suit. This wasn't something you planned on wearing, I assume.
Michelle Simpson and her daughter, Natalie Ballard, say Natalie's ex-boyfriend, Kyle Scaife, owes for his share of a trip to Jamaica.
Now, what do you do for a living?
I'm an administrative assistant.
You have a household?
Yes, ma'am, I do.
Who lives in your household?
Right now, myself and my youngest daughter.
And are you the sole support of yourself and your youngest daughter?
Yes, ma'am.
How much do you earn a year?
Approximately $38,000.
Okay. Now, how much were you making last year?
Under $20,000 a year.
So you made a little more than half of what the plaintiff made, is that right?
Probably.
Right. And you only had to support...
Myself and her daughter.
You were supporting her daughter?
Well, we were doing it
Just
together.
a second. You were supporting her daughter?
We were doing it together, actually. It wasn't. I wasn't paying everything. We were both paying everything together.
So you were supporting...
Myself.
Right. Then why would you think that this lady who's running a household, taking care of a minor child, why do you think that she would decide to blow you to a $1,000 vacation?
I was actually shocked. You know, actually, I never asked.
I'm shocked, too. I want to tell you something, Kyle. It's shocking to me. Shocking. Because her daughter would have gone without you.
I'm sure she
would. In a flash.
Yes, ma'am.
In a flash, she would have gone without you for a week, gotten a nice tan, come back, shown you pictures, and said, I had a great old time.
Yes, ma'am. Probably.
You don't want to be a bum, do you, Kyle?
I never asked.
No, you don't. Listen to me. You don't want to be a bum, do you?
No, ma'am.
You don't want to take things that should really be better spent on a child.
Of course not.
For you to go on a vacation, do you?
Well, I was invited to go on a vacation, and it sounded like a good idea.
I don't believe that, sir.
Well, that's the way it happened.
I don't believe that, sir.
Well.
I believe that she advanced the money, and I believe she gave you a lot of latitude to pay it off because, you know, you were expecting some windfall from some bogus accident that hasn't come through yet. And you, like any other 21-year-old, are living in a fantasy world that you're going to turn out to be a millionaire because somebody rear-ended you even though you're not injured. He's going to be sorry he came here. When you went on this trip to Jamaica, did you participate in water sports?
No, ma'am.
Did he participate in
Yes,
water
ma'am.
sports? Sure he did. Sure he did. Did you go swimming?
Yes, ma'am.
What other water sports did he
I have one of
participate
him
in?
climbing a palm tree.
Oh,
We
let me
jumped on the
see.
banana boat.
Oh, I want to see. The insurance company that's handling his lawsuit with his lawyers that's been pending for ages is certainly going to want to see these pictures, but I want to take a look at them first. Does this look like a healthy man to you?
Yeah, pretty healthy.
Oh, look at him climbing up the tree. Yes! Look at him climbing up that tree. Picking up his girlfriend. Lovely, lovely, lovely. Oh, well, not only will you probably not get this money from your car accident and the substantial injuries that you alleged in your complaint, but you owe her $916. Judgment for the plaintiff. Step out.
Parties are excused. Let me step out.
I think somebody finally taught him a lesson.
Regardless, win or lose, at least I'm glad this is over with.
I know Kyle better than anyone else, and no one can make him do anything he doesn't want to do but Judge Judy.
I'm just tired of messing with them. I'm sure they're tired of me. I just soon move on.
I did speak with Kyle several times.
Nothing was ever said about it until the relationship was over.
He did say that he would reimburse me the money once he got his settlement.
I'm sure they want the money, especially since the relationship didn't work out.
Oh, I'm thrilled. Justice has prevailed.
Cold-hearted people.
And I think we need to go back to Jamaica real soon.
And now the next case.
All parties in the matter of Alarid versus Ayala. Step forward, please.
Small business owner David Alarid is suing teacher Sandra Ayala for the cost of a chicken suit he sold to her via eBay. Sandra says the suit was supposed to be brand new, but instead it was old and dirty.
Mr. Alarid, you advertised this chicken costume on eBay.
Yes, ma'am.
The defendant purchased it and then somehow paid for it with his PayPal or pen pal, I don't know, something, pal, that I don't quite understand. But the bottom line is she canceled the payment that she made to you, and she kept the chicken suit. Okay, so $154 was the amount of the purchase plus shipping, and you want $2,650 for the price of the chicken suit plus your aggravation.
Yes, ma'am.
That's a lot of aggravation, Mr. Alarid. And Miss Ayala says she purchased this as a result of an ad that you placed on eBay, and she said you advertised for a
New, never been worn chicken suit.
new, never never been worn chicken suit. She purchased it in good faith, she sent you the money in good faith, and she got this dirty, disgusting, worn chicken suit, which she doesn't want, right?
Correct.
And which she's not going to pay for. Now, when did you purchase it?
This was in May, early May.
And what did you purchase it for? This wasn't something you planned on wearing, I assume.
No. I'm a special education teacher, and just on a volunteer basis, sometimes I throw events for the special ed kids in my area. So I had a couple of picnics and concerts coming up in the early summer, and we have some children's music, and there's a song about a chicken in it, and I thought it would be great to have a little chicken mascot.
David Allerid says eBay customer Sandra Ayala owes for the cost of a chicken suit. Sandra claims David misrepresented the sale.
Do you have a copy of his ad that he ran on eBay?
I think he brought the original ad.
Can I see it, please? Okay, here we go. New, never worn, deluxe adult chicken mascot costume. And is this the way it came?
This is the way it came.
Can I see it, please, Bird?
Sure.
Come on, have a little bit of a sense of humor, babe.
And bring the feet with the shoe prints.
Name is Bird. I take it kind of personal.
We've known each other a long time. Listen, this has been worn, Mr. Allerid.
Yes, ma'am.
So, how come you sold something that had been worn to her as brand new, never worn?
Well, when it was shipped, it was brand new, never worn. It was sold 5 months ago.
Okay, let me see. No, it doesn't look too awful. You bought it in May what?
I think the date was May 8th. It was May 8th.
Excuse me a minute.
Who gets it?
Let's keep it right here for a minute. Well, I haven't finished doing the case yet.
Oh, okay.
May 8th. And when did you receive it?
Just about a week after that.
When did you notify them that you didn't want to pay for it?
Well, that's not... I did pay for it. I paid for it right away. PayPal is a...
So you paid for it right away. Paid for it on May 8th.
Exactly.
Okay. Then you got it about a week later, say May 15th. Mm-hmm. And you realized that it was
worn.
It was worn. So what did you do?
I contacted eBay by email. That's the only way. And I contacted PayPal. And I said, what do you do in a situation like this?
Okay. Do you have any emails to support that?
I do have emails. I have emails between he and I, but the
No.
the PayPal...
I want to see...
This is the record of PayPal.
Let me see. Is this the first time you had bought something on eBay?
Yeah, it was my first time bidding on something on eBay, and so since I wasn't sure how to go about it, I had to call PayPal and said, what do you do when you receive a fraudulent item, when something comes worn and dirty and you didn't pay for that? And they said, oh, this man has actually refunded your money. I said, why? And they said, well, we can't be sure why, but you'll be getting the money in a day back to your account. And then he sent the email that said, PayPal accidentally sent you that money. You have to send it back to me. So I contacted PayPal again, and they say, we don't do refunds at all. It's seller-initiated, and there are no accidents.
Now, when did you correspond with Mr. Allerid about the suit?
The day that the money came back into my account.
Was that also in May?
Yes.
So practically immediately?
Exactly.
Is all that correct, Mr. Allerid?
No, ma'am.
Okay. When did she contact you and let you know about the condition of the suit?
June the 14th, after I'd sent several emails. Finally, out of desperation, eBay and PayPal advised me to file a complaint with the FBI Internet Fraud Division, at which point I sent an email saying, look, I'm filing a complaint with FBI Internet Fraud Division.
That was on June 14th?
Yes, ma'am.
How many of these chicken suits have you sold, Mr. Allerid?
On eBay or altogether?
Altogether.
Probably about 50. 50? Yes, ma'am.
How many on eBay?
Probably about a dozen.
Where do you get them from?
Out of New York.
How much do you pay for them?
I pay $49.99, I believe it is.
So you pay $50 for them?
Yes, ma'am.
She doesn't like her suit, so you either want the money or the suit back.
Well, it goes a little bit beyond that at this point.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
She wants to give it back to you.
I asked for it back several times.
Yes?
And her emails, which I have right here, I have a copy for you.
Yes, I'd like to see them.
Okay. Here's the emails right here.
Well, she told you right away, sir. She said, I don't know what clerk you checked with about the condition of the suit, but that suit arrived in an old bag, in an old box, and the suit was full of leaves and debris, and the rubber parts were stained with marks on the beak, head, and shoe prints on the feet. They're still there. She told you that right away.
That was June the 14th.
So, she wants to give you the suit back.
I asked for it back.
Now you got it. Listen to me, Mr. Allered. Are you in business?
Yes, ma'am.
Have you ever had complaints filed with regard to these chicken suits before?
Never.
So you paid for 50 chicken suits, which you paid $50 each for, equals $2,500. That's what you paid for the chicken suits. You sold 49 chicken suits times 124?
Yes, ma'am.
Equals $6,776. That's a fair profit. You made almost $4,000, and you've never had a complaint.
Correct.
Consider this the cost of doing business.
Oh, it's not a problem.
Perfect. Give him his chicken suit.
Okay.
Perfect. Now you have your chicken suit and your profit of almost $4,000. I would walk away a happy man, Mr. Allered. Thank you very much. This case is over.
Parties are excused. You may step out.
Judge Judy continues in a moment. Plaintiff Lucinda Waters is suing her stepdaughter, 22-year-old secretary Kim Flatt, and her husband, 24-year-old construction worker Brandon Flatt. Lucinda says when the couple fell on hard times, she helped them pay their bills.
This is case number 192 on the calendar in the matter of Waters versus Flatt.
Thank you.
You're welcome, Judge. Parties have been sworn in, Your Honor. You may be seated. Sir, have a seat, please.
Ms. Waters, do you have a problem that requires you to wear a visor and sunglasses?
Yes, ma'am. I have a letter from the doctor here.
Could I
if you
see it,
need
please?
Yes.
All right, well, this is a letter requesting permission for you to wear the visor and glasses.
Yes.
So I have no objection.
Thank you.
Okay. Ms. Waters, this young lady is your stepdaughter.
Yes.
And her husband.
Yes.
And this gentleman?
Is my husband.
This is your daughter?
Yes, ma'am.
Your complaint alleges that you loaned your stepdaughter and her husband a little over $10,000.
Yes.
And they have repaid half.
A little less than half.
And you want the balance.
Yes.
Your stepdaughter and her husband say they've paid you back all that they have to because they did some work, some barter for you that took care of the balance of the loan. That's your defense. Is that right? How much money did she borrow from you?
Total? Probably about $70,000.
What did you borrow the money for?
For car payments. She paid insurance. There is a payoff balance there from a vehicle that she had taken.
For a car?
Right.
That you needed?
Mm-hmm.
Is that right?
Yes, ma'am.
Now, how much money did you borrow from your mother?
Her or my real mother?
Your biological mother?
None.
None? How much money did you borrow from your father?
None.
So it sounds to me, from your mother and your father, you got squat. From your stepmother, you got a whole bunch, right?
Right.
Now, you paid her back $4,000. She says she's loaned you over the years a lot more than $10,000. So now you are going to explain to me why you didn't pay her back the rest. Who's speaking?
Well, first of all, it all started out where we were getting behind.
Why were you getting behind?
On trying to get everything paid.
Why?
Financially.
We were financially in a rut, Your Honor, and
Why were you in a rut? You're two young people. How many children do you have?
2.
2. Do you work?
Yes.
Do you work?
Yes.
Well, I have slow seasons at my work, and then we weren't making the bills, and Miss Waters took on a couple loans for us. That's how.
Well, that was really nice of her. You have mother and father?
Yes.
Did they give you money to pay off your bills?
No. If they had,
Yeah,
they
brother.
would.
What?
If they had, they would.
That's always a good answer. If I had it, I'd give you anything I had. All I wish to have is that I had it. So far, I've got your mother and father who gave you nothing, her mother and father who gave you nothing, and stepmother who gave you a lot. Right? I'm listening to a yes.
They helped us out, yes.
She helped you out.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
So now I'm listening as to why you didn't pay her back. I'm listening.
We were renting a house from her. We did a bunch of repairs.
You were renting a house from her?
Yes.
So she had a house. Tell me about the house.
The house, originally when we first got married, she purchased a house for us, and we were buying the house off of her through a bank.
So she purchased a house, and she said to you, if you pay it off, it's yours. If you pay off the note, it's yours.
Yes.
Did she put any money down on the house?
I paid 100% of it. Their closing costs, their furniture, everything. All they had to do was move in.
And they were supposed to pay you back by paying rent every month?
Well, no, it was actually a mortgage set up at that time.
Oh, good.
So that they could get credit.
And how much were they supposed to pay you every month?
At that point, it was $435 a month.
What a bargain. Couldn't get that anywhere else, could you?
No, we got it and we were paid on it.
So?
But 2 years went by, we ran into some problems where my mother-in-law wanted to take the house back into her name.
Why was that?
We ran into marital problems.
Yeah.
And instead of losing the house, my mother-in-law wanted to sign the house back over into her name.
Your Honor, before that, before they had the marital problems, they were over 3 months behind. I made arrangements with them at that time because I was going to go ahead and go into foreclosure because they were behind on their car payments, which Ford Credit was getting ready to come and repo. They called me. I had to send money to them to stop that. They were over 3 months behind on the mortgage. They talked me into stopping the foreclosure if I would give them a chance, and so I let them make month-and-a-half payments until they caught it up. Then they split up. And that time, my stepdaughter had actually moved in with another gentleman, and we allowed the grandchildren and Mr. Flat, Brandon here, to move in with my husband and I to help him out because everything was really chaotic at that time.
So far, does that sound right, Brandon? Did you go and live with them?
Yeah, for about a week or two.
So they were very nice to you?
Grandchildren.
Well, you were there, too, weren't you?
Yes.
You ate there, didn't you?
Yes, I did.
You slept there?
Yes.
Ah, I got it. Why don't you owe her the rest of the money?
Well, we ended up getting back together, moved back into the house, and at this time, my mother-in-law owned a home, and at this time, she decided to rent just the house.
She decided to what?
Rent us the house instead of mortgage payments.
Okay.
We did a bunch of repairs on the house, and she had an agreement where if I was going to help her do this work, she was going to sell us the house back, and she was going to use that money that I did on the work in the house as a down payment back to that house. That was a verbal agreement we had.
Is that right?
Somewhat.
What kind of an agreement did you have with him?
What happened was in October of 2003, they had come up and told me that they were not going to rent the house any longer when the lease ran out in March, I think it was. I told them at that point then I was going to have to do some renovations to the house and put it on the market to sell it because I needed to get out from under it because of the expenses. Then after some of the improvements that we were doing, we were, adding to actually make it a 3-bedroom home. They decided they liked the landscaping and everything we were doing to it. It looked real nice again, so they told me they wanted to buy it. So we told them at that point in time, if they were going to buy it, they had to get their own mortgage, that we couldn't do it. That was, we had done all we could do.
Right. Get your money, act like grown-ups, take care of yourself.
I told them, which basically wasn't legal, but I said, okay, if you help us finish this up so they can come in and do an appraisal on the house to help you get a mortgage, we'll say that you've put X amount of dollars down. So it'll make it easier for you to get this mortgage.
Gotcha. Does that sound right?
Yes, it does, Your Honor.
Okay.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
Hey, why don't you turn around? Just look at him, okay? Now look at me. In 10 years, you won't remember what he looks like. I'm being serious with you. In 10 years, unless you have pictures around the house to look at, you will not remember what he looks like.
And later today...
What word of be quiet didn't you understand? B. You didn't understand B? B. We're going to try it again, because Bill Clinton, you're not.
Real cases, real people. Judge Judy. Lucinda Waters says her stepdaughter, Kim Flatt, and her husband, Brandon, owe for loans to pay their bills. Lucinda also says the couple won't let her see the grandchildren.
So I'm still waiting to hear why You didn't pay your stepmother back and your mother-in-law back the money that you owe her.
Well, the last month we lived there, Your Honor, we were half a month behind, and she decided to evict us, so...
Why were you half a month behind?
Bills got caught.
Bills! You know, the two of you were like an accident looking to happen. You're old enough to make children, you're old enough to play house, but you're not old enough to take care of your business. This lady is not going to continue to take care of your business and to clean up after you. You have parents, they don't help you. You have brothers and sisters, who knows, and how many other relatives. Nobody else helps you except this lady here, and you pay her back by not paying her back. You two are an outrage. Do you get my point?
Yes, ma'am.
Huh?
Yes, ma'am.
You ought to thank her by kissing her anywhere she says. Instead of not paying her back what you owe her. Don't say anything else. Miss Waters, I'm not often prone to give advice and to talk about wise, age-old adages, but no good deed goes unpunished. You see, he's probably talking to his mother and father, who gave him nothing. Only, I'd give you anything I had if I had it, but I don't have it. She's probably still talking to her mother. She might even be talking to her father, who gave her nothing. The only one that they're not talking to is the one who was most generous and took care of them, and that's you.
And they won't even let me see the grandchildren.
Well, then they are stupid, insensitive babies, right? Because the only one that helped you is her. And it would seem to me that if you have children and the only grandparent that they can count on is her, then it would seem to me that you are really two of the dumbest people that I've met in a long time if you don't allow her to see her grandchildren.
They told me I would get a restraining order if I even tried to go see them.
Why is that?
Because look, she's trying to come after us for everything we ever had. She didn't always help us. She was always trying to bury us in financial debt every time she got a chance. Oh, I'll go buy you a car. And, you know, I need a car, so what can I do? I don't want my kids around somebody like that.
Where do you come from? Where do you come from? What jurisdiction do you come from? What state? Florida. Where in Florida?
Ocala.
They would have the water tested there. You owe her $5,000. And if you're smart and if you're sensitive, listen, see your first husband?
Yes.
Are you as dumb as he is?
No.
So you understand that he sounds very stupid. He does sound very stupid. You have children?
Yes, ma'am.
Is he the father of your children?
Yes, ma'am.
And you were separated once?
Twice.
Twice. I want you to turn around, just look at him, okay? Now look at me. In 10 years, you won't remember what he looks like. I'm being serious with you. In 10 years, unless you have pictures around the house to look at, you will not remember what he looks like. Now I want you to look at her. You're going to always know what she looks like. She's going to be the staple in your life, not him. Now, quite frankly, you're irrelevant, but your children aren't irrelevant. You're going to have to rely on them. If you cut them off, you're as dumb as he is. Do you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
Do you think that I'm right?
Yes, ma'am.
Right. Judgment for the plaintiff in the amount of $5,000. That's all.
Parties are excused. You may step out.
They think that they just can get it and they don't have to pay it back.
I really don't believe that I owed her the money.
I was told to get out of their home, which was my home at the time.
Blown out of proportion.
I just want us all to be a family again.
In the future. Yeah, I do see it.
And now the next case.
All parties in the matter of Feynman versus Hernandez. Step forward.
Aspiring author Annie Feynman is suing her former astrologer, Anita Hernandez, for breach of confidentiality. Annie says Anita used her pen name without permission.
Miss Feynman, your lawsuit alleges that somehow Miss Hernandez published something with your name on it. It wasn't your name, it was a pen name that you used, and that people might recognize the pen name and attribute whatever problem it was to you. So I want you to explain to me and to Bird here, what did she publish, when did she publish it, why it caused embarrassment to you, and why you think that she breached some sort of confidentiality arrangement she had with you. Let's go.
Okay. I've been in a depression for a while, so I decided to consult an astrologer. And I gave her some personal details of what had been happening.
You're an astrologer?
Yes.
How did you find her?
I had been seeing her website for quite a while, and she's very...
On the internet?
Yes. She's a very interesting astrologer, and I thought this would be an interesting way to maybe solve some of the problems I'm having. So the email name I use, the Flame McBain email name...
The what? Flame?
Flame McBain, which happens to be the main character of a novel I wrote, which I'm sending out to get published. It isn't published yet. That's why I'm nervous about this information being sent all over the internet, because I'm afraid a scandal might come of it, because the information she put out in a newsletter...
Just a second. You're getting ahead of yourself. Oh. So you wanted her to do what?
I wanted a chart.
You wanted a chart?
Yeah, some astrological calculations as to what was happening. Very personal, embarrassing details.
Miss Feynman, you sent this over the internet?
Yeah. Yeah.
Go ahead. So, along with personal details that you wouldn't want the stranger to know about.
I thought it was just going to Miss Hernandez. Well, you have a point.
What I want to see now is how you published her problem, because what she's complaining about is that you published her problem and people could identify her.
It's a limerick.
It's a limerick. I remember limericks from high school.
Ogden Nash.
Don't let them see that. Is this what you're complaining? I want you to take a look at that. Is this what you're complaining about?
Yeah, this is exactly what... She had sent out the newsletter. I didn't get it, coincidentally enough, but my friend did. My witness got it. That's how I found out about it.
Okay. Can I see it, please? Suffice it to say, without going into details, which would be even more embarrassing for you, because instead of a few people getting it on the internet, hopefully, since our courtroom is televised, hopefully tens of millions of people will be watching.
And won't know the details.
And won't know the details. So you were asking about a situation that you had that involved something personal.
Right.
And she responded by writing a little poem and identified you by the use of the name that you sent her, which was Flame McBain.
I've used this name for 8 years. People know that it's me. Had she just said my client, it wouldn't have been a problem.
It wouldn't have been a limerick.
Just a second. Just a second. Why did you use that name when you sent her?
I didn't. She used it from my email address.
Right. And she says clearly, no real names used.
Right, but I've used that name for 8 years. People know it's me.
So what? She didn't use any real names, and the only way she could convey to you things were by using your name.
Beyond what's happening now, I'm very nervous that if I do get published, that this would come out to be used against me in the future and cause me public embarrassment. I wanted to, get it over with now.
Her novel is about a hooker.
Listen.
Her novel is about a hooker.
Miss Hernandez, Miss Hernandez, put it away. Put it away. Miss Feynman, listen to me very carefully. Shh.
Third generation.
Shh. What word of be quiet didn't you understand?
B.
You didn't understand B?
B.
We're going to try it again, because Bill Clinton, you're not. If you're afraid that the name Flame McBain will come back and haunt you if your novel is published, is that what your real concern is? Change the name.
Change what name?
Flame McBain.
It's too late. It's copyrighted, and the book is...
Just a second. Nobody bought it yet. If somebody...
I have sold it unpublished.
Listen to me. If somebody buys it, change the name. Miss Feynman.
I can't do that.
Get it. Why can't you?
That's my character's name.
Change it. If you're afraid of being embarrassed, change the name.
Way too late for that. Oh, my God.
Oh, my God. Oh, my God. Listen, if you don't want something to be out there in the general... Wherever they put the
things,
listen to me carefully. Wherever they go in the internet, wherever things go in the internet, into outer space, don't put it in writing. Nothing is private that's on the internet. And if you didn't learn that before, this is a very good lesson. And if you're not afraid of it being out there, but what your real fear is that it may negatively impact on your book, change the name of your heroine. Goodbye.
Parties are excused. You may step out.
Soda Crush. Juicy. Divine. Soda Crush. Divine. So delicious. Divine. Soda Crush. Divine. So delicious. Divine. Tasty. Soda Crush. Tasty. Juicy. Divine. Divine. Tasty. 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 Divine. Tasty. Soda Crush. Tasty. Divine. Juicy.